Hello again, gang, and it's me again. But at least I'm not going to be alone rambling on about nonsense. Candice will be on here with me. Um, I sent the link to Chris, so maybe he'll be able to join us on his lunch break. I'm not really sure. We will see. If there's any of you that want to join at any point in time and talk about the topic at hand, which is going to be weird and unique foods, I just want to remind everybody that next Friday, um, we're going to be talking about retro toys and childhood favorites. So it might be some people that want to join us for that one. And I came up with another topic, and Candace can feel free to veto it because she's my co-host on these shows. But I didn't want to talk about just weirdest horror films we've ever seen, but just weirdest films in general we've ever seen. And that could be horror, it could be comedy, it could be drama, it could be sci-fi, whatever. Um, so, be sure to bring your list the week after next of the weirdest films that you've ever seen. And I think that's going to be a fun one because I haven't really done one like that in particular. So that's what we got coming up as far as Friday Foolish for the next couple of weeks. Hey, Blissful. And I will tell you guys that my lunch is headed to me right now. And here's the deal. I've got to meet them at the door because this gal has ordered some alcohol. Um, not hard alcohol, just a cocktail. But the thing is, when you have that dropped off from DoorDash or Grubhub or any of these places that will have alcohol to go, you got to show your ID at the door. Otherwise, they won't leave your drink there. They're not just going to leave it sitting on the bench. So I will have to go away and leave everything in Candace's capable hands. I know she's very capable. While I go and flash my ID to them and get my food and get my Tito's punch from Chili's. Those, by the way, if you have a Chili's near you and you've never had a Tito's punch and you are able to drink alcohol, there's not a medical reason why you can't drink alcohol, or you know some people have problems with alcohol. I'm not, judging. But if you don't drink it for various reasons, then disregard anything that I say. Plug your ears. But those things are delicious. I'm sorry, they just are. Um, yeah, Bliss, when you say I never thought people would get carded at their own door. I think what they're trying to make sure is they say they won't leave the alcohol with somebody that's already intoxicated, and they will not leave alcohol with an underage person. So they're mainly making sure that you're over 21 or 21 or older, and that you're not already three sheets to the wind before they give you more alcohol, which I think that's a wise decision to do. Okay. So again, I want to remind everybody that there will be no watch longs or movie munchies this weekend. It will return the following weekend, where hopefully I'll be able to finally make my deep red spaghetti, which is a recipe inspired from the Death for Dinner cookbook that Candice and Chris sent to me a few months ago. And I'm still enjoying immensely. The recipes are fantastic in there. Um, and the seductive poison that I had to cancel last night will be rescheduled for the following Thursday, and I'll be talking about the three movies I had planned to talk about: Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, Candyman, and Cannibal Ferox. Um, and pardon me if I keep looking at my phone, but I'm just trying to be at the ready when they get close to my house. Yes, that cookbook, Blissful, was definitely an amazing find that Candace and Chris were able to find at a store near them. So I'm grateful every day that I have it, because not only is it great for my movie munchies, but it's great just in general to find a different kind of recipe to do, just for me and Steve. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add Candace on here. Hey, Candace.
Hey, Dana. Hey,
Well,
everybody.
it looks like Candace found her Friday Foolish shirt.
I did. I found it. It's where I thought it was.
I'm glad she was able to find it. I would have made her another one if it got totally lost, but I know she wanted to have her original one, so I'm glad
Yeah.
I found it.
I had worn it down my mom's after our first Friday Foolish that I had it on.
Hmm.
And I started cooking and I said, "Oh, I got my shirt on. I don't want to get grease or something on it." So I took it off and changed and I forgot it down there. My mom took it and washed it for me and stuck it in a bag of clothes for us. So
Our
I love
moms, they try to do good buys, but sometimes things end up missing, don't they?
yeah. Yeah, and she's always on top of her game. She's one of those moms that if you go in to get pop, like a soda or something to drink, and you take
Hmm.
your glass and you stick it down, go to the fridge, open up your drink that you're going to pour it into, turn around. You better watch out because the glass will probably be gone. she's like a ninja. She takes it and starts
That
washing
sounds
it.
just exactly like my mom. It's like
She's always on top.
on
Hey, blissful.
Christmas, on Christmas, my mom, and you can let me know if your mom does this too, Candace. Like, if when we go to mom and dad's for Christmas, and even when I was living at home, on Christmas Day, when everybody else is opening their gifts, my mom is walking around with a trash bag picking up the wrapping paper as we unwrap
Yeah.
our gifts. I mean, and
Yeah.
she's done that every year that I can remember. My mom has done that.
My mom cannot stand a mess. I mean, I've never seen anybody be so fast. I mean, she's done it to me. She's done it to Chris. Like you go in there and get seconds, and like if you're eating, your plate will be gone. I mean, it's just. I remember one time Chris, he went to get him some milk or something out of the fridge, and he had a glass and he stuck it down. He almost poured the milk onto the counter. My mom had already washed it out and it was in the dish strainer. And she's like,
Oh
"I'm
my
sorry, Chris." I said, "You know how my mom is." I said, "You got to watch out."
Yeah, that sounds exactly like my mom. Exactly.
Try to lighten myself up here. I'm a little dark looking.
I thought maybe you were trying to set the mood, Candace.
Well, I do. I'd rather, feel more comfortable kind of in the dark. Not in the dark, but
Blissful, you say your mom always said don't rip the wrapping paper. Well, mom didn't care if we ripped it, but she just
Oh
wanted to make
yeah.
sure it was picked up like almost immediately after we unwrapped the gift. I think I asked her a couple of times. I said, "Mom, why don't you just sit down and relax and enjoy Christmas?" And she's like, "You know me, Dana. I gotta
Yeah.
clean this stuff up." So,
That's my mom. I mean, she's finally, where she's got so many health issues right now, starting to relax, but she still tries to overdo it because she's just so used to always being up. I never knew my mom ever sitting down and relaxing,
mm,
ever,
my mom
until
needs.
it was time to go to bed. I mean, she was always up cleaning, doing something, and nobody was making her. It was just what she did.
Mhm.
So I wish I was that way.
I wish I was that way too. Unfortunately, I'm not. That's why I have dog hair and dust galore all over my
Mhm.
house.
My mother-in-law's the same way. Chris's mom is the same way. She even folds her grocery bags into a neat, I mean, they look like they've come out of a factory. Like her
Mhm.
grocery bags, she'll take them and reuse them, and she'll get them out and they'll be creased. I mean, no joke. It's the crazy, not crazy as in she's crazy, but it's crazy that somebody can do something like that. Because I'm like, if I tried to fold a bag, it would end up looking like I don't know what. I wish
Well,
I was that
Candace,
neat.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Candace, but they're approaching with my order, so I'm
Okay.
going to take myself out, and Candace can talk about whatever she wants with y'all, and I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay. Hey everybody, I'm taking over the stream. So, um, how's everybody's day? How's everybody doing so far? I know it's early, kind of early for some people. If you like to sleep in like me, I don't really like to sleep in, but sometimes I stay up a little bit too late. So I usually end up sleeping until probably about 10 o'clock or so. I used to sleep in later when I could, but you got kids running around and animals and stuff that depends on you. It's hard to sleep in real late, but I sometimes feel like I could sleep until about 1 o'clock in the day. But how is everybody today? And anybody have any kind of weird stuff that they want to talk about? I know today we're talking about weird and unique foods. Going to plant pumpkins today. Oh my gosh, we planted pumpkins probably 3 years ago, and those pumpkins overtook the yard. I mean, they were huge. They were huge, but I will tell you what happened, and it's the strangest thing, and that's why we've not planted pumpkins again, again because we have dogs. So when we planted those pumpkins, they were awesome, like big, huge, giant pumpkins. And my son and my nephews were all like excited about it. But something happened. Like fleas are bad around here anyway, especially if you have dogs, and you always have to stay up on top of your flea control. Well, these pumpkins, the flea population like quadrupled, even more than that. I mean, it went crazy. And you could just see fleas like just jumping. So we had to get all this stuff trying to, naturally take down the flea, infestation in the yard. And the yard was nowhere near the dogs or anything like that, where the pumpkins were. And that's the only place that you could see them at too, was where those pumpkins were. So we'd get like this diatomaceous earth, whatever it is, and sprinkle on it and, try to kill them. But I said, no more pumpkins. No more pumpkins. I'm not going to go through that again, because once the pumpkins were gone, the fleas were, I mean, it was down to where it was manageable, and you could manage your dog's fleas, by giving them medicine from the vet and stuff. But I said, no more pumpkins for us. I love doing it, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if anybody else has had that kind of problem. We planted squash and stuff like that, and cucumbers and other like gourd type stuff, but nothing like that ever happened. So it's fun, but not for me, because I don't want to go through that again. Because it'd just be my luck that that's what will happen. But I grow mint. I have a bunch of mint. I've been growing spearmint and chocolate mint and sweet mint and all kinds of mint for, I guess, ever since we've had this house. We've had this house for a few years now. We bought it. Um, so that's about the extent of my growing planting things, because I planted tomatoes last year, and God bless my father-in-law's heart. He didn't mean to, but I had all these beautiful tomato plants, like every variety that you could think of, like yellow tomatoes and big boys and Mr. Stripies and beefsteaks, and even the little like the Tommy Toe. I don't know what everybody else calls them, but that's what we call the little small like salad tomatoes. um, just had a ton of these big, beautiful tomatoes. And my father-in-law He accidentally weeded them down, every one of them, and I'm thinking, how did he do that? I mean, because they were big tomato plants, and I know he knows tomato plants because he grows them, but it was an accident. He did not mean to do it. It was totally an accident. No, I didn't get mad or anything like that. I said, well, just wasn't tomato season, I guess, for me. But I was looking forward to those tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I got a lot of clay and rocks in the ground, so it's hard to grow. Plus, it's mostly dead plants. Now, our backyard, we have this huge backyard, TJ, and you would think that it's full of dirt that you could dig right down into it. But we bought a swimming pool, paid a lot for the swimming pool and a big upgraded pump. It was well over like maybe $1,500 or something like that for this pool, which to some people that's not a lot, but to us that's a lot. And it was like one of the biggest swimming pools that I've ever seen. It was just one of the biggest ones because I wanted a big nice pool because we were going to build a deck around it and we were going to put like nice gravel around it and like just make something nice out of it for the kids. Well, we tried to dig into our backyard, and unbeknownst to us, under probably just a few inches of the grass and stuff is like this slate rock, and it's all over our backyard. And you cannot dig down into it. Like there's places that you can dig into, but you'll find gravel and stuff. It's so weird. Like our house was built in 1960. So it's an older house. And our backyard, like I said, is huge. I don't know like when that was developed back there, but we could not put our swimming pool. We ended up having to sell it for a lot less than what we paid for it. A lot less than what we paid for it. Like maybe not even a quarter. We basically gave it away. Um, but we just didn't need it because it was down in our basement. And I was afraid it was going to get destroyed, but we finally sold it. But you can't dig into our backyard. It's ridiculous. I told Chris, I said, if we get a swimming pool, it'd be one of those little blow up ones that the boys can get one season out of. And we thought we're talking about our planning adventures and our uh,
Ah,
gravelly backyards.
well, I've got my mint plants growing and they're really taking off.
Yeah, they will. They'll start spreading too, Dana.
Well, my sweet mint, it's spreading out. Now my spearmint is growing tall. I don't
It
know if
it
that's how it's supposed to do or
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. You ought to see my like the spearmint in my one big thing that I have. I've had it for a few years now growing. I think I planted it the first year that we moved in here. Um, it's like huge. It's like overtaken. Like, I had the chocolate mint into there.
right.
The chocolate mint kind of grows a little bit different, kind of grows out. So I was like, where's my chocolate mint? And it was just like deep down inside the spearmint. So that's why I went and got more plants to plant into the other planter. But I was telling TJ that because he said he was going to plant some pumpkins today. I told him the first and last time that I ever planted pumpkins, they grew and they were beautiful, big, huge, beautiful pumpkins. I mean, big jack lanterns.
Mm-hmm.
But our flea population, like you could see fleas jumping all in those
Oh my
plants.
gosh.
So I got rid of the plants and I said, I'll never again. Have you ever heard such a thing? I said it's already hard, hard enough to keep fleas with, pest, the control that you go to the vet and get stuff. I said, I'm not going to go through
Right.
that.
You wouldn't think though that fleas would be jumping in your pumpkin patch or anything, but
I've never
that's
seen anything.
weird.
I've never even seen fleas jumping on the grass or anything like that. I've never, and like, I was afraid to go outside and walk over towards those pumpkins because that's the only place that you've seen them is where those pumpkins were. And I'm like, what? I mean, I don't know how fleas, how they live or grow or anything like that. But I said, did we plant these on top of a flea house or something?
A flea nest or
I don't know how they live. I don't know where they're from or where they,
I don't know.
it was crazy.
I try to know as little about fleas as I can.
Oh gosh. We have
So
hard enough
that
time
way-
to keep them off ours with going to the vet, and the vet is expensive. So There you go.
Yes, ma'am. The vet is expensive. Well, I did get my Tito's punch, and
Ooh.
I thought I just had to show my ID, but I have to sign. They have a thing on their phone where in the app I have to sign. I was
Oh,
like, oh dang, I forgot. So I had to set my stuff down and like scribble my name on there, and then I was good to go. But I got chili from Chili's, and a house salad, and this is watermelon lemonade. There's no
ooh.
alcohol in this, and it's good. I had it like
Hmm.
a week or two ago.
I think
Uh,
Tropicana makes a watermelon lemonade.
I think they do. I think I've had it, and it's
Hmm.
very good.
I can't drink lemonade anymore, and that's my one of my favorite things because I make a mean homemade lemonade, and my one of my favorite things to make is a pink lemonade. And
Oh, I love pink lemonade.
I take lemons and I fresh squeeze them and sugar, and I take maraschino cherries, and I will like mold it like I forget
Maraschino
what.
cherries. Oh man,
And I'll take it, I'll mash them all up, and oh, it's so good. But I can't drink it because of my, like
your
stomach
your
issues.
stomach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and let Chris on here because I know he's probably on his lunch break. So we want to give him an opportunity. So let me add Chris here. Hey, Chris.
Hey, ladies and TJ.
Yeah, that's what it appears. There could be more people. We got 8 total people in here, but only a certain amount of
Yeah,
people are chatting.
yeah, yeah. All I seen in the chat was Blissful and TJ, so that's why I said hello, ladies and TJ.
We don't want to offend TJ, do we, by calling him a lady?
Well, I mean, no, that would be wrong, right?
We wouldn't want to call Chris a lady either. Um, oh, I gotta ask this. Did anybody notice the new logo for Friday Foolish that I put on here? I told everybody I was gonna make
Oh,
one
up here in the
up,
corner?
up in the corner.
Yeah, I've seen that. I like that.
Oh,
That,
I just now noticed that. That's neat.
Yeah.
that's a laughing zombie, supposedly. So,
Yeah.
So before I got on here, I was on Facebook and just seen some really exciting news. So as you know, I've mentioned on here several times, and I'm a big fan of Toonie Terrors, the Toonie Terrors action figure line. Okay, so NECA just announced Toonie Terrors Series 10, and it's something I've been waiting for a while. They're finally releasing Toonie Terrors of Universal Monsters.
ooh,
Ooh,
I
They,
wonder if Steve.
so So Series 10 of Toonie Terrors will be all Universal Monsters characters. It's Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Wolfman, and the Mummy,
cool.
and they look awesome.
Cool. That's really I love those new Funko Pops that
Yeah,
they
the black light ones.
yeah.
Yeah, I just pre-ordered those last night from Amazon, and I'm so glad they're doing those because they're the same molds from the original Universal Monster Pop
Oh, yeah, because
figures.
we missed out on those.
Because we missed out on I have the Frankenstein and I have the Mummy up here on my shelf from that original series of the Pops, but I didn't get Dracula or Phantom of the Opera or the Metaluna Mutant or the Creature from the Black Lagoon or Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So and in this Blacklight series that they're releasing, it's Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, and the creature,
Yeah.
which they have him now listed as the Gill Man, which that's what he's also known as. But and I saw some comments on that last night. I was like, people were like, Gill Man, why are they calling him the Gill Man? Couldn't they get the rights to the creature from the Black Lagoon? I'm like, well, he's called both,
Yeah, he
and I
is
said,
a deal
and
man.
I,
Though.
and I'm pretty sure if Funko has the rights to Universal Monsters, they have the rights to the
Yeah.
name from Black Lagoon. It's just their decision. But regardless, I'm glad they released it because I was really wanting the creature one, and this is the original mold, and it looks cool. I love the color schemes on these black light pops.
Yeah, they look really nice. I love the look of them. So I'm excited about those.
Hmm
Uh,
Well,
TJ says he's getting all of those Universal ones, Chris. So
Yeah. They, like I said, I just saw them, so I headed over to Big Bad Toy Store to see if they had them up for pre-order yet. They do, so I went ahead and pre-ordered those because I don't know if anybody on here listening has ever used Big Bad Toy Store before, but whenever they do pre-orders, they do not charge you until they get the items in stock.
I like that.
I do too.
And yeah, and those figures don't come out right now. They've got it slated for October, but sometimes that can change if there's like delays in shipping of the items to the companies and all that. Because I've pre-ordered stuff from Big Bad Toy Store before, and it'll say like due July or something, but I won't get it until like they won't actually get it in until like a couple months after July or something. And like I said, they until they actually get the stuff in stock and it says in stock on their website, they will not charge you until that. And so, like I said, I had to go ahead and order that bundle of all four straight away because I was like, I don't want because I think those are going to be popular, and I didn't want to risk them getting sold out or anything.
Dang, I thought that's happy news, but I thought Chris was going to tell something spectacular about Horror Hound. Like there were some Robert England autograph tickets left over.
Well, they've not put those even up for sale. I talked to Nathan about that though, and he said he didn't think that they were going to put all those up for sale until somewhere like mid-June.
Mid-June, okay. Well, I'm still waiting for the photo ops. I keep looking every day to see if the photo ops have went on sale because I'm just.
They will probably put them up around the same time they put the autograph information up for Robert England. I would, if I was guessing.
I'm just antsy because I'm just I'm like if I'm not sure, which I'm more along the lines of thinking those pre-sale autographs they're gonna sell out. So I'm like, I gotta get a photo op. I gotta get a photo op because. And Steve said, "Well, if you don't get one, you don't get one." I said, "Steve, you don't understand here. That's my main. Robert England is my main reason for going to Horror Hound in September."
Well, I don't think you'll have a problem with that because, like I said, the last time we went to Horror Hound and Robert England was there, his photo ops didn't even sell out.
Oh,
That's not gonna risk though until she gets that.
no, I probably won't. It's keeping me awake at night because
Dana's like me.
They do like if like say the first round of his photo ops do sell out, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get one because they'll do like different blocks, different sessions. They do that with a lot of the more popular gifts. Like they just did that because Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich from Scream are going to be at Scarefest, and Scarefest has already got their photo ops up for this year, and session A for the duo photo op of Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich they sold out quick on those because those guys are super popular at conventions, and but they've already got like a session B up for sale.
And I think Horror Hound, like back in March when we all went there, I think I got like it may have been session C of photo ops for the Raimi brothers. So I know they had to have at least A, B, and C. I'm pretty sure it was C, but
See, I'm not sure about that because I didn't because I think I bought my Raimi brothers photo op pretty early on, and I didn't like check it anymore after that. So it's possible.
I was behind. That's why I lost out on the Saturday tickets and had to go Sunday. And I didn't get burned on that deal this time. I went as soon as I could. I got those Saturday tickets for Horror Hound in September. So, but TJ's wanting to know what we all think of the Trick or Treat 4K update. I didn't know there was one. I guess I missed it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Is it a good update or a bad update, Chris?
It's a good one, and I would say I would echo what Wes already said about this, but it's already on paper looking like it's going to be the release of the year.
Ooh.
Because Michael Felsher has went completely all out with this release. Um, so yeah, I watched a little bit of it last night where he was talking about the different covers. So there's gonna be three different slip covers that you can choose from. They commissioned three different artists
Gosh.
uh, to do three. So you're gonna have your choice.
Oh boy.
Um,
Again.
uh, so and all three of them are really cool. So it's gonna be hard to choose for me when I order mine. Um, but he said that there will also be like they're looking at getting a number of 6,666 copies.
Ooh.
Uh, so he said roughly around like 2,222 copies of each version of the slipcovers. Um, and okay, so it is 3 discs. So it comes.
Mm.
The first disc is the 4K Blu-ray. The second disc, I believe, is the DVD. And the third disc is they have partnered with Sony, and they are releasing that third disc is the soundtrack.
Cool.
Uh,
We'll have to
and
tell our friend about that.
so he said it also will be coming with like a poster and like 8 different little postcard that looks like lobby cards inside the box, plus a plethora of other stuff that's going to be
Mhm.
included. And like it's an all new transfer from the original negative. And it has like I think it's like 3 different audio commentaries plus just all this other stuff. I mean, you have to go look it all. Dana.
Yeah.
It's a
Take a
huge
look.
release.
Our friend Shay is absolutely obsessed with Trick or Treat. I mean, that's his favorite of all time, and he is the biggest Kiss fan that you will ever meet. I mean, he gives me and Chris a run for our money, being huge Kiss fans, and his favorite album of all time is actually the soundtrack for Trick or Treat. It's not a Kiss album. And I remember
Yeah,
the first time he told me that, I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's my favorite album of all time." No,
it's
hands down.
awesome. That's a good
So
choice.
It is an awesome album. I have the vinyl of it.
I'm gonna be making him one of those big, like a big semi
Mm.
curve doll, and I think he's gonna like it. I hope I can do it justice. That's just if I can
Oh, I bet
get Dana hers first. Dana's like, "Where's my damn doll first? You
no,
gotta get
I've seen your work, Candice, and I'm willing to wait as long as it takes because I know it'll be quality. Just
yeah."
the stuff that I've seen, the pictures you sent me early on, I was excited about.
Well, I should be getting it on the ball here soon and really wrapping it up and stuff and getting it because I've not got to work on it as much as I've wanted to. But we've been, we've been moving stuff around and stuff and trying to get my area back into where I can, work on stuff more frequently. So once I get that, I'll get you some updates on him.
Okay. TJ says, my buddy hosts a podcast with Felsher. The DP boys wouldn't let Slippy live it down if they weren't on that podcast, I bet.
Oh, it was so funny the way Felsher was reacting because it started off it was just Felsher and the 2 guys from the podcast, the Spooky something podcast. I can't remember what the name was, but and they were having like video issues at first where they couldn't get like there was audio of them talking, but there was no video. And then, so like I said, it's just the 3 of them starting out, and then like a fourth like video screen pops up, and it says CK down in the corner,
Oh,
and Felsher's like, "Wait a minute, what's going on here? Why is he in here?" and then and then they like get everything fixed where it's showing them on video, and then just about a minute later after they get the video fixed, Uncle Bill joins. And it's just like Felsher's just having like he's freaking out, like he's having a panic attack or something. Which I know that's just all he's playing on that whole character stuff with Wes and Aaron, but it was really funny.
I love watching those three interact, Felsher with the CK and Uncle Bill. It's always it's always a fun time. So I hate that I miss it. I'll have to go see if I can find that on the replay.
Yeah, it's on. Do you have Michael Felcher on Facebook, Dana?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought it should be on his Facebook page. It seems like um, Wes or somebody from the Dead Pit page might have posted on the Dead Pit Facebook page too. I'm not sure, but it's somewhere out there.
TJ says it's the Spooky Picture Show podcast. So
That's it. Yeah, I couldn't remember their name. I Yesterday was the first time I had heard of them, but yeah, they did a good job last night.
well, Chris, I know your time is limited because
Yeah.
you have to go back to work eventually. But is there a weird or unique food or a couple of foods you want to mention while you're on here?
Well, I mean, there's a couple I guess I could mention.
Chris is the king
And
of weird food combinations. I'll just say that. And if he can't think of any, then I don't know what he's
most of my
thinking.
stuff is probably going to be peanut butter based because I love trying peanut butter with other things. Um, so I remember one of the first things I ever tried that's considered weird food, and it's something that I ate to this day. And Candace is like, what the hell's wrong with you? But they make these little microwavable sausage and biscuits. I think like Jimmy Dean. I mean, like Jimmy Dean may make
Oh boy,
some.
I
And just
see what
different
this
companies.
is.
So one day years ago, I decided to. I made a pack in the microwave or whatever, and then I took it out. I took the top bun off, and I put some peanut butter on the sausage, and I love it. I've eaten it like those for years now, and like I said, I've tried peanut butter with a lot of different stuff, just see
Tell her
what it
what you
tastes.
just did with peanut
Yeah,
butter.
one I just did the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this from now on when I make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
And he tried to
So
get me to eat that, knowing I can't have hot sauce like that. No, it's vomit
listen,
hot sauce.
this was okay when I mixed it with the peanut butter and the jelly. So what it is there's these little right now at Walmart they have like these little bottles about this big of these different flavors of hot sauce, and I can't remember what the name of the company is. I'd have to go look, but one of the flavors I picked up was peach bourbon hot sauce, and I tried it by itself, and it really has no like spice to it. It's more sweet than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? I said that tastes pretty good. I said I'm gonna try this with peanut butter and jelly. So I took a bowl and I put some peanut butter in, and then I put some jelly, and then I splashed a little bit of that peach bourbon hot sauce on there, and I mixed it up, and then I spread it on some bread, and then I tried it, and it is delicious. I mean, there's like it just what it made the peanut butter more like creamy is what it did, and it made a very sweeter taste to it, and I love it. I was trying to get Candace to try it, but she wouldn't.
No.
She's like, that's hot sauce. You're in there. You're not. You're going to turn my stomach up. And I'm like, no, listen. This one is like doesn't really have any kick to it. So it was just sweet. But
Well, I know you, Chris, and I know your concoctions. Like Dana, he'll take something simple like gravy and biscuits and put like garlic powder and
I
soy
don't do
sauce.
that. That's a lie. I have
Make it up like
I've
some
never
kind of
put
like
no
thing
garlic
that
powder in biscuits and
well,
gravy.
you've done it you've done it in ramen noodles. Them ramen noodles that you made that one time, it had like
I put it
sugar or something in it. I was like, oh god.
in ramen noodles. I have, but no,
Syrup.
but no, I do put jelly. Like when I get biscuits and gravy, I do mix jelly in with my biscuits and gravy, and that's really good to me. And but there's one other thing I have done. Like there's this it's like a powder type. It's like I think they call it buttered popcorn salt or something like that.
Yeah,
So
that's not
so
popcorn.
I've made peanut butter sandwiches and like mix the buttered popcorn salt,
Oh gosh.
and I love that. But everybody has, like I've said before, everybody has different tastes for stuff, different palates, and Candace likes the pickles with
Yeah.
stuff. She's done the
I love pickles.
pickle like with the
I
fruit roll up wrapped around a pickle, and that wasn't for me. She likes eating pickles with the stuff called chamoy, which
Yeah.
I'm not into that either. But our nephew Henley, he likes that stuff too.
We take it's pickles with chamoy and tahine.
Yeah.
And my favorite pickles to eat like that is the Van Houten pickles, the ones that like are individually packaged. I love those. Like we love those. I do all kinds of stuff with those Van Houten pickles.
Um, well, Candace, did you want to talk about one or two of yours? Because I've been writing down extra things as Chris was talking. I was like, oh, that reminds me of something else that I eat that's kind of weird and unusual.
Well, speaking of pickles, like I said, I love taking those Van Houten pickles or any kind of pickles and eating with chamoy. If you don't know what chamoy is, it's like I don't know if it's a fermented fruit sauce or what it is. But I think it's made out of fruit and stuff like that. And it's like a red, like it's a sour. How would you describe the taste, Chris? It's a sour taste, but it's a little hot. It's got a little heat to it, and it's a not really a fruity taste, but kind of fruity.
You
Uh,
don't really have no heat to me. I mean, it has a bit
it's
of
got a
a
heat.
heat
Yeah.
to it, but I don't. To me, I don't taste any kind of
Yeah.
heat
But
to
we
it.
love the eating the pickles with the chamoy and the tahine. But I also like taking pickle juice and taking like salt and vinegar chips and then sprinkling the pickle juice over it. I like eating chips like that. I think that's good. Chris is like, I don't know how you eat this.
Mm, well, I'm,
But
I'm sure you think the same thing about my peanut butter
hey,
concoction.
I love anything pickles, anything kind of pickles. And let me tell you something, because we got us a little snowy ice shaver, and it
Uh-huh.
makes the greatest ice, like the what do you call them, like shaved ice.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it just like snow, no chunky like
Ooh.
uh, slush puppy type stuff. This is like shaving like snow. It's delicious. It's like high quality little machine, and because that's the way I like it. I like it shaved like that. So I had this concoction, and we get the Hawaiian shaved ice. So what's the brand? Tropical Snow. I think it's Tropical Snow or the Hawaiian.
Tropical something.
It's the good kind of syrups. I think it's the Hawaiian. My gosh, I probably should look at it before I brought it up, but it's the good kind of syrup. And I get the green apple syrup and I pour it on that shaved ice.
Oh, green
Like
apples.
I'll put just a little bit of shaved ice in it in the cup, then pour some of that green apple syrup, take some of that Van Houten pickles and I chop them up and I put it down in it, then shave some more ice on top of it, put another layer of all that stuff in it. And then when I finally get to the mound, I put more pickles and the syrup, and then I put or not tahine, but chamoy all over it.
Mm-hmm.
And pickle juice. I put pickle juice in it too. It's a shaved ice, and I call it Tommy Pickles
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
from Rugrats.
I think that would sound. It sounds good to me.
It takes the pickles, that ice slightly freezes those
Well,
pickles, and it's so good.
that's not something that for me particularly that I like, but I
You don't
know
like
that there's a lot of people that love pickle flavor stuff because you see pickle flavor stuff all the time
I
everywhere
love
now.
the chips, the Lay's pickle flavored
Yes,
chips.
I love
Yeah,
I
they
love
have those, and now they have dill pickle flavored Slim Jims and just all
Yeah,
kinds
those
of
are
stuff like
I
that.
okay.
need to try those. I haven't tried those
I've
yet.
seen these nuts at it's called like I think they're called like Annie M's.
Mm-hmm.
D's nuts, pickle flavored nuts at Walmart. And I was like, what in the world? But they're like $5 for a little package of nuts. I said, nah, I'll be okay. Unless they
You
bring
could
them down.
probably get some plain nuts and put some pickle juice on them.
You could, yeah. Like I said, I take that like salt and vinegar chips and I put a little bit of pickle juice in it, and I love it like that. But like another thing with chips I do, I love like the little crunchy Cheetos, and
Yeah.
I'll take like lime juice and sprinkle it all over the Cheetos. And what is that hot sauce that I can't eat, Chris, that I love?
Cholula.
Cholula. And I put a little Cholula over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so good. I love that. It's kind of a play on this Mexican dish. I can't remember what it's called, but there's like a Mexican dish that you can, it's like a street food that you can get that has like pickled pigs, like pork rinds, but they're pickled. And it's got like, I think, I forget what kind of stuff it's got on it, but I think it's got like nuts and stuff on it. But it's a play on that. I've seen somebody eating that on YouTube one day, and I said that looks good, but I don't have all the rest of the ingredients, so I just took the little Cheetos and the lime juice and the hot sauce, and it was good. I eat it
You
all.
know, and I was talking about all these different like food items that were coming out, like you see in the stores and stuff, like that are pickle flavored. You know, I'm surprised that there have not been dill pickle flavored Oreos yet.
Oh,
Because Oreos have released so many different flavors.
Yeah. Now, me and Chris, we got some of that, or I did. It was because I got it. I thought the boys might wanted to try it, but it was dill pickled flavored cotton candy. And Dana, that was the worst cotton candy that I've ever eaten.
Really?
Oh my gosh, Chris, wasn't it?
Oh, you got some dill pickle flavored ice cream from Walmart once too.
That was okay. That was okay. It wasn't terrible, but that cotton candy was awful. It was absolutely awful. I don't know. I said I'll never get that again.
Well, I seen in the chat that Blissful said dill pickle popcorn.
Now I have popcorn seasoning that's dill pickles.
Yeah, we have some of that.
He got me a film festival set last year for Christmas. And it has some dill pickle seasoning. Steve's like, I ain't having none of that, and I ain't having that bacon seasoning.
Yeah, we have some of that in the thing. It's that little be small like shakers, and it's got a little guy's face on the front of it. Yeah, we have some of that. But there's another thing that Henley wants to try. My nephew, my youngest nephew, because we love the pickles and the chamoy and stuff like that. But we seen this other trend, and it's so bad, so much sugar and so much salt. I'm so sure, just really high in sodium and sugar. But it's a dill pickle that you pour out and you put the gummies and stuff down in it. But you wrap the whole dill pickle in cotton candy.
Ah.
I told him, I said, we may do that. I don't know, but
I mean, that actually sounds interesting. Chris is shaking his head.
Nope.
Could you imagine the mess though?
Yeah, I mean, but I was just thinking about something like, Candice, have you ever tried putting a packet of Pop Rocks on a pickle?
That is actually something they put on that cotton candy thing. That cotton candy concoction with the pickle, that is actually something I've seen people put on that.
Oh.
So whenever you're eating it, you kind of put the Pop Rocks on it and you eat it. I'll have to send you some of these videos, Dana, that we watched. Yeah. And you'll, I mean, that's somebody else has thought of it because it's on there.
We watch. We watch.
Hey, I watch stuff like that. I don't care. I love watching food.
Chris is trying to make a point here. He's like,
he doesn't like my mukbangs and stuff.
If I walk into a room and that's on the TV, I'm walking right back out.
But I'll tell you something that's a family snack that my mom ate it, my papa ate it, I ate it, and Chris thought I was crazy at first. I was like, this is a family snack goes back generations. But once he tried it, he loved it. He's like, you actually aren't crazy. It's corn chips and milk. And you eat the corn chips like cereal.
I mean, that could be good, but I'd have to take it in like small amounts to see if I could.
Well,
Chris wouldn't even he
that's
didn't
what
even
I had
think
to do,
about
Dana.
trying it.
And then I was like, wait a minute, this is actually pretty good.
Very good.
Um,
Now my
yeah,
favorite is putting the barbecue flavor ones in there,
yeah.
and eating it like that. But my mom and grandpa and them, they would always eat it just
It's
plain
just
corn chips.
something savory about it, really, because it just if that because milk is kind of sweet, and
Right.
then you add that salty taste to it,
Yes,
and it
it's so
just
good.
I
Yeah.
don't know, there's something about it that's just awesome.
Listen, you may not like it, but don't knock it until you try it because you
Yeah,
may end up being like Chris. And
that's what I try to do, unless it's something that I've tried it before
yeah, yeah,
and just can't tolerate, then that'll be
yeah.
the only time I'll say, no.
It's kind of play on another snack. Now, I don't eat this as much, but my grandpa used to eat it all the time when he was alive.
Mhm.
It's a kind of a play on the cornbread and milk. Have you ever ate cornbread and milk?
I've heard of that, Candice, but I've never tried it
It's
before.
kind of a play on that. But I love corn chips and milk. I think it's a great snack. It's a
Uh,
snack that's not heavy, It's to me, I prefer it over cereal. I'm not a big cereal eater anyway, but I do like
TJ TJ told me to never say something again, but I don't, I don't know what I said.
Yeah,
but
and
I'm not.
sometimes
But I'm
he
not.
says that to me, and I'm like, "What did I say? I don't remember what I said now."
um but something else that I do that I've done this for years and years, Dana, is
Uh,
put olives in my beverages.
yeah,
I
I'll
think a lot. I
I
think
know
people
people
do
put
that.
them in well, they put them in alcoholic drinks, but I know
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
drink alcohol now, so.
martinis and stuff like that.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up loving Dean Martin. Okay, I grew up loving that kind of Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, the Rat Pack. That was my big thing growing up. I mean, me, 5, 6, 7 year old girl, that was my style. I love the old classic Hollywood stuff. Um, so I always seen them, going around with martinis and these big olives, and even in cartoons
Yeah,
back then, they would have martinis, with. So
Mhm.
that's why I started doing that, and it carried over from childhood to my adulthood, and I always love olives in my beverages. Now, I almost said pickles. I've actually done that before. You know these little martini swords and stuff, like little cocktail
yeah.
swords. I've taken a pickle, like a little sweet pickle, small little sweet pickle, and an olive, and I've stuck it on that, and I've stuck it down in my drink, and it was actually good. The sweet pickle was.
It sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Even a dill pickle would sound good to me in
yeah.
that.
Now
Um,
the olive, I think it just enhances the flavor of whatever I'm drinking. I tried it in milk once, and I said never again. So that's
Yeah,
something I did.
I don't think I could handle milk and
uh,
all, but
No.
I hate to cut you guys off, but and I'd love to stick around and talk more about this, but unfortunately, I have to go back to work.
all right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Chris. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I'll still be watching you guys, on my phone though while I'm working. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on here, guys.
Well,
See you in a little bit.
All right, bye.
Bye.
anytime.
So TJ said Oreos and pickles. Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear that again.
Yeah, dill pickle
But
Oreo.
then again, it could be. I mean, Oreos, they have a way of making, stuff good. So like I said, I'm not gonna knock it until I try it. Like I love Slim Jims, but the pickle Slim Jims I'm not really fond of.
Mhm.
They were okay. I thought I would like the dill pickle cotton candy, but that was just awful. Oh my god, Dana! If I could just let you just try that, you'd be like, Candice, we're no longer friends.
Oh, I
It
wouldn't
was that bad.
think.
Um, but anything that you eat, Dana, that's
Well, I'm going to read a couple of these comments, and then I'm going to talk about a couple of things that Steve just can't believe I put in my mouth and actually eat. But um, Blissful says I had such resentment towards olives. They took up too much room in my martinis. You didn't get enough booze. That's what you're saying, right, Blissful? Um, and TJ says, martinis are a sexy drink. Well, we heard that from TJ, straight from the horse's mouth there. Uh, Sorry, guys and gals. I was trying to place an order at Amazon, and I was trying to make sure I had my I's dotted, T's crossed while I was doing this. But there we go. Um, I also got to get some things for the animals today. I'm probably going to have to make a order. Well, I got to make a order to get some dog food in today because the
I do
dog is
too. I have to go
home.
get dog food and guinea pig food and bearded dragon food. We got the frogs
You're
food.
about in the same shape I am. I have the snake. I've got to get the snake some frozen
Mhm.
food, and
My
yeah,
frogs, they only eat every other day. They go like a day without eating. How they, eat in the wild. So,
my
the
snake eats.
crickets
My snake eats once a week, so
once a
he's
week. Well,
really.
that's not bad at all. So
Mm-mm.
the frogs, they were ready for their food whenever I brought those crickets home. They were on their game, on their hunting game. Because they can see they're so smart, Dana. Not to get off on my frogs or
Oh
anything
no,
like that,
that's
but they see me coming and they've learned to watch for me
fine.
getting like holding that carrier because
Yeah,
they see me coming with that and they know that there's food in that. And I'll give them their crickets and man, they're fast. I've never seen anything like my bearded dragon. Now he is fast. Now, he loves hunting
they're
crickets.
fast.
He loves doing that now. And he thinks every time I come in there that I'm gonna have to give him a cricket, and he doesn't want anything. He wants the crickets. Like I'll
They
bring him
don't
the
want their
greens.
greens or anything like that. They want those crickets.
He'll eat it. He'll eat the greens and the sweet peppers or whatever I bring him. But he thinks, "Hey, mom, I want my crickets."
Yeah,
It's like
bring
you
me
eat
my
the crickets
crickets.
every time you turn around, you know.
They
But
got to have a balance to it, but they don't
he
understand.
doesn't care.
Mm-mm. Uh, Blissful, you missed what cocktail I got. I got a Tito's punch from Chili's, and if you like fruity drinks, then you would love something
Is
like
that
that.
like a vodka based
Yeah,
cocktail?
yeah, it's got that Tito's vodka in it.
Back when I could drink, I loved vodka. I'm a whiskey. I can't drink anymore, due to
I'm
my
a
stomach
I'm a
issues. But
whiskey gal too.
whiskey is what I always liked. I was always and I wasn't somebody who come home and drank or all the time. I'd have like Dana, have the occasional cocktail or something like that when I could. But I miss it. It's just being able to do that, and I can't anymore. I tell you what, I miss the most, Dana, and it's so weird too. You're like, okay, why do you miss that out of any kind of alcohol that you can have? Because I love like the cinnamon based whiskeys and the Jack Daniels and all that
Oh,
stuff.
my
But
Fireball whiskey. That's
Fireball's was my favorite, and Jack Daniels, and Jim Beam. I even like Jim. I love Jim Beam. But what I miss the most is a Corona with salt and lime. If I could have one of those right now, you don't know, I would demolish that. But that's what I miss the most is a Corona salt and lime. I do. I miss it.
Blissful said she was a former vodka girl. So I've
I like
gotten
vodka.
trouble with vodka. I have to be very, very careful with vodka because I got sick on it. Not
Mm,
as sick as I did during the champagne and bullets watch along with the whiskey. And that was Fireball whiskey that I went too far
mhm,
with. And I still drink the Fireball whiskey, but I said I will never, ever, ever overdo it because that was the sickest I've ever been in my life.
yeah. I've only been sick one time. I was somebody who could drink a lot and still function. I don't know why. I don't know why I was built that way, but I was. But one time I really overdone it, and I got the next day, and we were having to drive like a 5 or 6 hour
Ooh,
drive home, and I was so sick. I wasn't. I guess I was hungover, but I could function, didn't have a headache or anything like that. I was just so sick to my stomach that
yeah.
me and Chris just decided to pull off, along the way and just rent a hotel room. He's like, listen, I'll rent us a hotel room. There's no use in us going, you feeling that sick and stuff like that. So I'm glad he did because I felt a lot better the next day.
Well, the 2 times that I've really overdid it, once on the vodka, making my own screwdrivers, I won't ever do that again. Um, and once with the Fireball whiskey.
Mhm.
I was sick for the next 3 days.
Phew.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so I was like, Dana, I'm like, Dana, hon, you're getting too old to do this. If you was going to do this stuff, you should have been doing it in your 20s because
Mhm.
you can't, your body can't handle it now. So it takes me down.
Lord. The last time I drank, my sister-in-law, well, she used to be my sister-in-law, she invited me over. She's like, "Let's go to Applebee's and let's get us. I'll buy us one of those. They give like the pouches of like the
Right.
big old thing of cocktails." And she said, "I'll get us one and we'll watch us a movie and have a girls' night." I said, "Okay, that's fine." It had been some while since I had drank anything, and oh my gosh, I only took like a couple sips of it, but my stomach flared up.
Yeah.
That I have. And I was like, "Oh no!" I said, "I'll never do this again." I said, "It's the end of the era for me." It's an end of an era.
It's the end of
Uh,
Candice's drinking era.
I said, "I'm down. No more, no more." So I'm somebody who can't even take a Tylenol. So without my stomach doing flips and knots and flaring up, and I just don't want to risk it. It ain't worth it to me.
TJ says he ate a cricket one time and it
Mhm.
had a nutty flavor. I know people have eaten them. I just can't. I have not been able to bring myself to eat one yet.
No, I took him to a science center, Dana, and they had the mealworms and the crickets, barbecue flavored crickets, and he bought them. And he got me to try both of them, and I will tell you, it's not what I thought it would be. Because my grandpa always talked about chocolate-covered ants and
Yeah,
chocolate-covered crickets and stuff like that he used to try back in, when he was a kid, and he's like, "They're not bad, I promise you." So, whenever you eat it, it's like a chip, it's hollow.
right.
It's not that bad. It's really not. He's got them over here on his shelf somewhere, but, um, he said, "Mom, can you believe we ate a cricket and a worm?" I was like, "No, don't tell me. Don't remind me. Just the thought of it is,
Uh,
ugh."
Here, I'll make everybody in here a deal, and I might do this beforehand but I'll still do the Cheryl cosplay, right? Because I promised I would do that. I
Mhm.
don't care to do that. But if y'all can help get me, and I know you're not supposed to try to get people to subscribe, but if we can get me, I mean, I'm almost part way there anyway. I've got over 830 subscribers. If we can get me to 1,000, I will not only do the Cheryl cosplay, but while I'm in the Cheryl cosplay, I will eat either some crickets, with flavoring on them, or some mealworms, or whatever. So if y'all
Come
want
on,
to see
people.
me do that in a Cheryl cosplay, get me to 1,000 subscribers and I'll do that.
Let's get Dana up to 1,000. That's not many to go. We wanna see that. We wanna see the cosplaying and her trying something new,
And
so
Candace said she'd do Mrs. Roper. So
yeah, and I'll do Mrs. Roper, and if you I'll double that deal. If you get her up to 1,000, I'll try something like an insect or something that I've not tried before. I've already tried crickets. I've already tried mealworms. I will not try a spider, so I'm not going there.
yeah,
But maybe something
I'll do
else.
anything but a spider. I wouldn't
Yeah, or a
like that.
scorpion. I won't do that. But
Yeah.
I'll fit maybe ants or something like that. I'll get some chocolate covered ants or something.
Chris says eat fettuccine with red food coloring. We
Oh my
could,
goodness.
and then have a bed of insects over the fettuccine.
Oh my lord. Well,
And
that's a weird food that I've tried before is insect. So
there you go. But before we run out of time, I will this has been. I love this conversation, but if I don't get a few of these out of here, we'll run out of time. And Steve, I'm sure when Steve gets home, he'll want to spend time with me. So, and I don't mean anything dirty by that. I just mean he'll want me to watch TV or something with him. I should say it the correct way so somebody doesn't have any ideas. But um, I have said this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. I put ketchup on just about everything you can think of.
Me too, Dana.
I put it on grilled cheese. I put it
Me
in
too.
macaroni and cheese.
Me too.
I will put it in dried beans.
Hmm.
My mom used to make dried beans a lot, dried beans and
Uh-huh.
cornbread. Candice knows how that is. We're both country
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
We understand about dried beans and cornbread.
Like soup beans and stuff.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
never tried it in soup beans. I've never
Uh,
tried
you
that.
should try it sometime.
I will. I'll try it because I love ketchup.
Uh, I've taken ketchup and made my own concoction to dip chips in. I put like chili powder and pickle
Mhm.
juice and salt and
Yeah.
just a variety of other things. Whatever I've got on my spice rack that
Mhm.
sounds good, I'll dump it in there
What
and
about
just
scrambled
make.
eggs? I eat scrambled eggs and ketchup.
I've never put it on scrambled eggs, but I wouldn't be against it. That's how much I love ketchup.
Mhm.
And Steve is like, he looks at some of the stuff and he's like, "Oh my God, Dana, what is wrong with you?"
Oh, I love ketchup. I always did. I surprised Chris whenever we first started dating. He just couldn't believe the amount of ketchup that I would consume. Well, yeah, I'm the same way. I love it. I love it with grilled cheese and macaroni and cheese, and oh, I love it. French fries and just whatever. People always said to me, "Are you having, you enjoying your hamburger with your ketchup?" Are you not?
Right, exactly. And like Steve, like he'll put mustard on his hot dogs, but he
I
won't
do.
put much ketchup on. I
Hmm.
hate mustard.
Oh, I
I
love mustard.
always say mustard. I've never ate dirt, but it's always what would envision dirt to taste like because
Really?
it's just bitter. I just don't like that.
Have you ever tasted of mustard?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I-
usually at least try something
yeah.
before I
Oh,
say,
I love mustards.
I
It's
don't wanna be
sour,
like
and
Steve.
I love my sour.
I like sour things, um, which is something else I'll write down here. I may not be able to get to all these, but I'm thinking of more as we're talking about stuff. Chris says, "Ha ha ha! Yes, mustard equals dirt."
Now, I'll tell you something that does taste like dirt that I hated and was scared of as a kid, but I love it as an adult, and that's pickled beets. I was
I've never
scared of
had
pickled beets.
it.
I love them. I love pickled beets, but I was scared of them as a kid. I thought they were hearts.
Well, they kind of. I mean, my mom used to can beets,
Yeah,
and they do. They look like
yeah.
hearts.
I thought they were hearts. It scared me to
In
death,
fact, oh
and I
my God,
hated
these people are eating hearts. I ain't eating
them.
that.
But
Uh,
they do taste like dirt. They really do. They taste like the earth.
Blissful's scared of spam.
Oh my gosh, we're a spam family, Dana, and that is something I wanted to talk about. That's one of our favorite things is spam, and our favorite flavor of spam is hickory smoked. And I eat a spam masubi. And if you know what a spam masubi is, it's kind of like a spam and like I think it's from Hawaii. Like it's a big food down in Hawaii. And what it is basically it's like a slice of ham or spam on a bed of rice, and it's wrapped in nori, which is seaweed, dried seaweed. And it's kind of a like a onigiri. Do you know what onigiri is? Like a rice ball in
Oh
Japan.
yeah, yeah.
It's kinda like that, but it's like like a spam sushi, but I love those, and I eat them all the time, but I like deconstructing mine. I don't construct it. I just eat
Mhm.
like I take the sticky rice, and I'll take the spam, and I'll cut the spam up and take the nori and, like, crumble it up and wrap it up into the stuff and eat it like that, and I like hot sauce on it sometimes when I can handle the hot sauce,
Mhm.
but I like it with soy sauce, but I love spam. I'm a big spam spam
Well,
big spam family.
I made that meatloaf when I made that misery
Yeah,
meatloaf, and I put spam in it because Annie Wilkes, that was
yeah,
her secret
that's
for her
right,
spam,
yeah, yeah, I
or
love
her
spam.
meatloaf, I mean.
But some people don't like spam. My mom hates spam, and I'm
Steve
like, "It
doesn't
tastes
like
like
spam.
ham. It tastes like ham." I don't taste the difference. Do you?
Not really.
I even eat mine sometimes not fried, just straight out of the can. I'll slice it up, put it on some bread with mayo and
Mhm.
uh, tomatoes. I love it. I think it's so good. But everybody's got different taste buds, I guess.
Something else, and Candace mentioned olives earlier, but usually now if Wes was on here, Steve was on here, if any of those guys were on here right now, they'd be like, "Oh my God, y'all are gross." Um, but black and green olives, I'm not.
Hmm.
I don't have to have a certain color. I love olives.
Well, I do too. I
I
do.
I could eat them as a meal. I just
Mhm.
eat them out of the jar.
I do too. Oh my gosh, we always have at least 4 or 5 different kinds of olives. Now my favorite is the queen olives, the Spanish queen olives. Those are my
I
favorite.
don't know if I've had those
They're
particular ones.
huge and they're really really good. They got great flavor to them. I love them. And I like blue cheese stuffed olives, jalapeno stuffed
Mhm.
olives,
Yep.
garlic stuffed olives are probably my favorite next
Making
to
me
the
hungry. We'll get groceries tomorrow. I'll have to get me a jar of olives.
yeah. Big Kamala olives, if I'm making like Greek food or something like that, I
Yeah.
get a bunch of and I love them. I think they're so delicious. I love any kind of olive. But when I was a kid, I was always like intrigued by olives. My grandma always had a jar of olives in her fridge, and I was sit and look at them. And I remember wanting to try one day, and I opened it up, and I couldn't have been 3 or 4, and I smelled of it, and it made me sick. So
Oh,
I never would try it. And then she finally got me to try one, and I hated it. I hated it. But I became obsessed with like the martini stuff. I didn't know that was alcohol. I was
right.
little, probably 5 or
You
6.
just, oh, that's cool looking.
Yeah. So I finally started getting them and putting in my drinks, and that started getting me to like them because they tasted better when I would stick them in my drinks. But I'm like Dana. I'm a big olive person. Big olive person. I love olive loaf.
I don't think I've had olive loaf
I
though.
actually have some in my freezer right now. I
Mm.
buy it because we don't get it around here in Hazard. So when we go out of town and I stop at that grocery store that has it, I get a bunch of it and bring it home, and it's just like a sweet meat loaf type of like lunch
Mhm.
meat, and it's got big old pimento olives all in it, and it's good.
I'm
Chris
definitely
don't
gonna have
like
to.
it.
There's no doubt about it. I gotta pick up some olives tomorrow when we
Oh,
get out.
Dana come back with a whole cart full of olives.
And Steve will say, "What in the heck? We're not eating all those." Well, he won't eat them at all. I don't know if it's just like how many guys in the chat, TJ, Chris, if there's any guys like lurking that aren't talking. I mean, how many of y'all like olives? I'm going to take a poll one of these days
Yeah,
and see if it's a guy thing that do the majority of guys not like olives.
I've not known many men who like olives.
That's interesting.
I don't understand it. It may be, but you had people like Dean Martin and people like that
Yeah.
who would take them with their martinis. But I'll tell you something else that I love, Dana, and you may as well. Like I'm a big, you know, fan of like 50s dining, like foods
Oh,
that came from the
yeah.
50s. And there's a lot of really gross concoctions, but I've always been intrigued by it. But something that I love are jello salads. And one of my favorite that has been in my family, my mom's side, for way before I was ever born, it probably come from the 50s, is called Mandarin orange pudding or mandarin orange, whatever you call
Hmm.
a mandarin orange. It's mandarin oranges that's, in the can, Cool Whip, cottage cheese, and orange flavored jello mix. And
I
you
don't
mix
know.
all
That
this
sounds
stuff
pretty
together
good.
and it's so good. Now, that's my favorite jello salad. But I also love Watergate salad, and that was my grandma Martha's favorite. It's the little fruit flavored mini marshmallows,
Uh
Cool
huh.
Whip, pistachio pudding mix, jello pudding mix. You don't make these puddings. You just pour the dry ingredients into all this stuff, and it's Cool Whip and like maraschino cherries, and you mix and pineapples, like crushed pineapples, and you mix all this, and that's
Mm.
Watergate salad. And then another one that I became obsessed with because of Edward Scissorhands ambrosia salad. Have you ever
Uh,
had ambrosia salad?
no, but it sounds delicious.
That is crushed pineapples, mandarin orange, little mandarin oranges, the little mini fruit. Well, we use the fruit flavored little mini marshmallows, but you can use the regular ones. Coconuts, whipped cream. Some people put sour cream or yogurt in it, but I use the like an orange flavored or a cherry flavored. Most of the times, cherry or strawberry flavored Jello pudding or a Jello mix. Not pudding, but just the Jello mix, and it's so good. I like that kind of stuff. Some people don't. I remember first time that I made, or Chris was at one of our family functions, and he tried mandarin orange pudding because he hated cottage cheese, and he didn't know cottage cheese was in it, and he fell in love with it. That's one of his favorite desserts, and he's like, "This has cottage cheese." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, it's good."
Sometimes all you got to do is get them to eat it, and then spice it up a little bit, and they'll eat it. Now, I never really been that fond of cottage cheese,
Oh, I love
but
it.
ricotta cheese. I
Hmm.
used to make this dessert. It was like some kind of candy that
Mm.
had ricotta cheese in it, and it
Oh,
was
really?
chocolate. And oh my gosh, it was so good. I can't even remember what the name of that
Was
was.
it a cannoli?
No, it wasn't a cannoli. I wish I could remember.
I love cannoli.
I might have to ask my mom because I
Mm.
think I found it in one of her cookbooks and I made it back when I was living at home. Um,
PJ.
TJ says, I like them. Ever put black olives on your fingers and eat them off? I've never done that, but it sounds fun,
I've
TJ.
done it. I've done bugles that way. Remember bugles?
I love those things. Um,
Oh goodness. But yeah, there's so many weird like types of fruit and food and stuff like that I love. I always love trying something new. I always love trying like new fruits that I've never tried before or never, because I love like star fruit and dragon fruit stuff like that. But I'll tell you something gross that it's gross to me, and it just looked gross, Dana. And it was something my grandma Brenda loved. My dad's mom, she loved a lunch meat called souse meat. Have you ever heard of souse?
no, I'm not familiar with that.
It's made with like the head stuff of a pig, like the tongue and the jaw, and it looked gross because you could see this like in the meat.
Was
And
it like head cheese?
she liked that too. Head cheese. I was like, oh, and liver loaf. She loved liver loaf.
Oh
And
my gosh, my parents loved liver loaf, or at least my dad did.
I just can't. I can't bring myself to try it. That's something I had never tried, and I, she loved it, but I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do this. But is there been any movies that you've ever watched, Dana, or anybody in the chat, where there's been a food on there that's probably not even a real food, but you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try that.
Well, this was a television show, and I did not even know that this alcoholic drink existed. See, somebody think I was an alcoholic the way I talk about these alcoholic drinks. But it was Roseanne, and it
Mm,
was the episode where Crystal was all bummed out because another guy had broken up with her, and Roseanne and Jackie took her out to the Lobo Lounge, the
yeah,
local bar. And the drink that Crystal ordered was a pink squirrel.
a pink squirrel.
And I looked it up. I mean, it is a real drink, but it's not something that you see on the menu at any, I'm sure you could ask somebody, a bartender, to say, hey, can you mix me up a pink squirrel? And they would probably look it up and see how to make it.
Yeah,
But that was always something that I was like, a pink squirrel just sounds delicious for some odd reason. And you could actually see the drink she had looked absolutely delicious. Um, and I think she drank like two or three and got kind of buzzed. on the
Pick
app.
a couple of pink squirrels, and you'll be seeing a couple of pink elephants following you.
I was trying to think of something else, that wasn't a drink that
That
I.
is the pizza in the beginning of
Uh,
TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. I second that. There's a scene where this woman and man they're like on a date and she's stretching that pizza. It looks really good. Yeah, but I have a lot of all the food on the table and Hook when they are using their imaginations, like the imagination pie that they use on Hook or eat. I mean, yeah,
the New York style pizza that they have on Big when it's Tom Hanks's character's of Josh, it's his
Mhm.
birthday, and his friend Billy takes him out to that Italian place.
Yeah.
That pizza they have on the table
Oh
looks
yeah.
really good.
Some of that food looks so good. You know what? You want to know what my favorite is?
What's that?
It's my favorite movie of all time, or second favorite movie of all time, because my favorite movie is Beetlejuice.
That's
But
what I
my
was gonna say.
yeah, my second favorite movie of all time, next to Beetlejuice, is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Mhm.
And that film, from the moment it starts till when it ends, is filled with stuff that I absolutely. I mean, it just looks. I mean, even the credits. When it's first rolling in, you see all this like chocolate and all these
Yeah.
like little cookies going under chocolate fountains and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
there is a scene where you know these kids, and I think Charlie's outside watching them. And there's a scene where the candy store guy is in there and he's singing Candyman.
Mhm.
And there are these little candy frogs. I don't know if they're cookies. I don't know what they are. They could be chocolate molded frogs or something like that. But they look so good, whatever they are. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted some of those frogs. They're the cutest little candies ever. And you got the lickable wallpaper where snozberries taste
Yeah.
like snozberries, and everlasting gobstoppers. And they make everlasting gobstoppers, but they look nothing like the ones in the film.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Fizzy lifting drink where you burp and it makes you fly up in the air, and the little teacup that Gene Wilder has, and he takes a drink out of it and eats it. Um, I mean, even that little gum that Violet Beauregard eats, and it.
Well, that's what TJ says. He says, "I want that gum from Willy Wonka
Yeah,
without the
yeah, I
side
see it.
effects."
Yeah, it's got like I think like a 3-course meal gum. It's like I think like tomato soup is the first course, then it's
Mhm.
roast beef and baked potato and blueberry pie or something like that. And that's why she turns into the big blueberry. But I absolutely love Willy Wonka. It's filled with so many different types of, just whenever they walk in there to the place where all these trees are filled with candy, and it's fake. It's probably big plastic balloons, balloons or something. But it makes you want it. That's
Uh,
one that I really love.
Chris mentions the Mondo burgers and Good Burger. I've never watched Good Burger, so I'm not familiar with the Mondo burgers.
Yeah, that's their it's a burger that's in there. Trying to think of some more. I know there is some.
TJ says he always wanted to try shoe fly pie. He said, "Is that real?"
Shoe fly pie. I don't know.
I like this doesn't have real grasshoppers in it, but see, chocolate mint is another thing that
Mhm.
Steve does not
Yeah.
like. I like anything chocolate mint.
Mhm.
So I'm sure Candace has heard of like grasshopper
Mhm.
cookies and
Yeah, yeah.
grasshopper pie.
Yep.
It's chocolate mint.
Chocolate mint. Yeah.
I love anything that's got grasshopper in the title for a recipe, whether it's pie or cookies. I would used to get those uh, Keebler graham cookies that were like
Mhm.
grasshopper cookies.
Yeah, those were the best.
Mhm.
I think didn't the Girl Scout cookies, didn't they have like a
Thin
grasshopper
mint.
type
Well, the thin mints I
thin
always
mints?
loved.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that, but those Keebler ones were the best. I don't even know if they
Oh,
make those do they even make those
I don't
anymore?
see them anymore. It makes me sad because I love those things.
Yeah.
I love chocolate mint ice cream.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just a huge, huge fan of chocolate mint.
I agree with Chris.
He says, I always wish the little microwave oven in Back to the Future Part 2 was real. They put the little mini pizza in, and when it's done, it's a full size pizza. Yeah, I want that too.
Yeah.
I'd save a lot of money. I'd get a
Can you
little pizza
imagine?
and make it big.
What about the gray stuff in Beauty and the Beast? You ever watch Beauty and the Beast, but Disney Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon?
Yeah, it's been a long time though.
That's my favorite Disney animation is Beauty and the Beast, and there's a part where they're singing where Lumiere is bringing Belle into the dining room, and he's making her big feast and stuff, and he says, "Try the gray stuff; it's delicious." So when we went to Disney World, we actually got reservations for the Beast's Castle. We got to have breakfast there, and I didn't get to try it because I don't even know if it was on the menu during breakfast, but they have a gray stuff there, and what it basically is like a cookie with like this gray mousse on it with all these pretty little like ball sprinkles on it. It looks good. I was hoping to try it, but I didn't get to.
Well, I just thought of something else, and I actually did try making this, and it was pretty good. Um, and a recipe exists for it because I found it. But in How the Grinch Stole Christmas, they keep talking about the roast beast.
Mhm.
And when the Grinch first goes down there and steals all their stuff, he steals the roast beast.
Mhm.
But when his heart grows as big as it can get and he brings all the stuff back, of course, he brings the roast beast. Well, I always thought about that. I wonder what the roast beast is. And so I just on a whim one day got on the internet. God bless the internet. I looked up How the Grinch Stole Christmas roast beast, and I found a recipe for it. I mean, basically, it was like a roast beef
Oh.
kind of thing. And I cooked it, and oh man, that
Huh.
stuff was good. So if you're interested in, if that sounded yummy to you when you watch How the
Mhm.
Grinch Stole Christmas, there is a recipe for it. Just put in How the Grinch Stole Christmas roast beast,
Yeah,
and
that's really awesome. But that'd
Mhm.
be cool for like Christmas dinner just to have
Yeah.
like a Whoville type, like feast. That'd be cool, I think. Or you could have like the Peking duck from what's it called? A Christmas Story, where they
Yeah, yeah. They got the duck out there and
yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. So Blissful says that she found the gray stuff recipe. So I need that because I would love to try it. Because I don't think I'm gonna be going to Disney World anytime soon. But
Mhm.
next time we do go to Disney World, I'm definitely trying it down there too. I'll tell you, they have something that is wonderful. And I wish I could duplicate it. And I know there's recipes out there for it. It's the Dole Whip. Have you ever tried Dole Whip of
No,
like
but
a
it sounds
knockoff?
good.
There is a little dairy bar where Chris is from, they sell like a their version of Dole Whip,
Mhm.
and it tastes just like Disney World's Dole Whip. It's a
Wow.
you know what Dole, like the pineapple Dole pineapples. It's
Mhm.
Dole pineapple like flavored custard. Oh
Ooh.
my god, it's so good. It is so good. They have
Blissful's made it. She says she's made Dole
oh, I
Whip.
love it. I would love to do that. I really would.
Oh, God bless your little
He's
heart,
found it.
TJ. He found me a pink squirrel recipe. So it has, let's see, creme. I can't pronounce it, TJ. So forgive me here. De Noya liqueur. It
Oh
has white
no.
cream, de cacao liqueur. Um, it has some nutmeg, has some heavy cream, um, chocolate almond flavor is
Mm,
the
I
flavor.
love almond flavor.
Yeah, and I love chocolate too. I'm a big
Mhm.
chocolate fan. So I may make a pink squirrel to have on here for some upcoming Friday Foolish. that me and Candice do, or I might do it for a watch along or something like that. So um, TJ says it's an animal that only exists in the Grinch, but yeah, it's roast beef basically.
Tell you, probably one of the most famous weird food combos is the Elvis peanut butter banana sandwiches, fried peanut butter and banana
Mm.
sandwich, and I've made them, and they are good. They're really good, and I'll tell you, I love sautéed bananas. Have you ever tried sautéed bananas?
No, but I'd be willing to try them.
Let me tell you, if you love bananas, you would love it. You take a little bit of sugar, a little granulated sugar, and put it into your skillet on low heat. Take your
Wonder if
bananas.
I could do that with sweetener, Candace.
Yes, yes. Take your sweetener, whatever you use, any kind. If I use granulated sugar, but if you use sweet and low, whatever you use, stevia, whatever kind of sugar, you just stick it in your pan, put it on low, get you some butter, get you a couple tablespoons of butter, and put it in there. Just according to how many bananas you're gonna put in there. Get
Right.
it down to a liquidy type, you know. Put your bananas in it, have them chopped up, put them in there, and lightly saute them.
Mm.
It becomes sticky and sweet, and I'll tell you my favorite thing to put it on. They had a coconut pina colada ice cream, and you put that over top of it, and it's delicious. It really is. I love sauteed bananas. It's a good garnish for a lot of things, especially ice cream where it's warm, and it
Mm.
makes it kinda like a sundae. So,
Ooh.
there's just something good to try if you like
I'm,
bananas.
I just ate my lunch, but I'm getting hungry again here. People talking about this. I was actually looking to see if Meyer had the stuff that I needed. Did I get Fireball whiskey from them? It's got like on my order again. I didn't think I got Fireball whiskey. Usually I go to the liquor store and get the Fireball whiskey, but anyways, um, maybe that was Popular Deals or something. Never mind. I'll look at that in a minute. But um, I guess I could talk about a couple more things. I know me and Candace have been kind of going back and forth, which is the way I like to do it. We kind of just mix it up, and one of us will talk about something, somebody else will say, "Oh yeah, that made me think of this," Uh, but Candace may have told me she does this too, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will take dill pickle juice out of the jar and pour it in a glass and drink it.
If I have high blood pressure.
Oh,
Had it
yeah.
ever since I was
It's
14
a
years
wonder
old.
I don't doing stuff like that.
Yeah. I've had it ever since I was 14 years old. Even before then, 14 years old is whenever they put me on medicine, so I've always had high blood pressure. Um, so I have to watch my salt intake. So I would love to do that, and I will admit that I do it
Mm,
some, but
occasionally.
I try to set my limits, like with pickles. I love pickles, and even though my whole bottom shelf is just filled with pickles, I could sit and eat them all day, but I do kinda have to watch myself, so but I love pickle juice, I do. They make it in little shots and stuff, Dana. I've never
No,
tried it, but
I
they
did not know that, but I should try
yeah.
that out.
A lot of people who do sports, it keeps, like, cramps and stuff down, Charlie horses and all that good stuff,
Because
so
it
they keep it
probably
there.
puts that salt and maybe
Mhm.
potassium too back in
Yeah,
their
yeah.
body.
I love
Uh,
kimchi. Do you eat kimchi?
Occasionally, yeah, I
Mhm.
like it. Steve, he's kinda on the fence about kimchi, which is why we don't get it a lot, but
Hold just a second, Dana.
okay. Um, but, TJ, you said I had a peanut butter banana burger with onion rings, and it was pretty good. I mean, that sounds interesting. I don't know, how I would like it or not like it, but, I mean, I'd certainly be willing to buy it. Um
Sorry about that, Dana.
What do you think of a peanut butter banana burger with onion rings on it, Candace? TJ has had that.
Now, Chris has tried a peanut butter burger before.
Mm.
I don't know how I'd feel about that though. I don't know. What do you think, Dana? Especially with onion rings.
I
If you
mean,
take the onion rings off, maybe.
I would be willing to try it. I'd
Yeah,
at
I'd be
least
willing
be
to try
willing to
it. I don't know
try
if
it.
I'd like it, but I'd be
I
willing.
don't know if I would go back to it again, but, I'd be
It
willing.
could be the best thing you ever eaten, though.
Yeah, it's possible that, it definitely could be. Um, I was trying to see if they had those collard greens in the bag because Candace, I know this is not talking about stuff we're eating necessarily, but our animals
Yeah.
eat collard greens.
Have you
And
been getting those collard greens that I suggested to
I
you?
got them from Meijer, like in the bags, and I just put the whole bag, sealed up bag in the freezer,
Yeah.
and it kept them fresh and stuff. And then when I opened it up, I put it in the big, what was left over, I put it in the big freezer bags, the gallon, like the
That's
gallon
what I
quart
do.
freezer
Yes.
bags, and put it back in there. And it just worked like a charm. I just, every
Good.
day I would take out the serving for my iguana. He gets 2 big servings
Yeah.
'cause he's a big boy. But Ernie, my bearded dragon, he gets, don't you drink that, Sammy. You don't need that. It might have residue of alcohol in it. I had set
Uh-oh.
that glass on the floor and he was smelling of it. But so anyway, that was the easiest thing ever. So I'm gonna see if I can get some more of these Robinson fresh collard greens. Like they have 16-ounce bags at Meijer, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get some more of those because this is like making my life a whole lot easier.
'Cause you were spending hours chopping that stuff up, and I was thinking,
Will.
try to get it already chopped up.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I ain't gonna sit around chopping up collard greens. You got
Candace
more
had to like,
patience than I do.
she probably thought Dana's crazy. She's sitting there
Mhm.
like shredding up all that.
Now, TJ says something that I've actually make. I make that. He said, try putting a can of fruit cocktail in a box of cake mix instead of water, and it comes out real
Oh,
moist. That
that
is really
sounds
good.
good.
Yeah, I love it. I'll tell you something else that I make, Dana. It's called Sex on the Beach cake.
Oh my
And have you
gosh.
ever ate it?
I've had sex on the beach drink, so I know the cake would be delicious.
Well, this is different than the drink, but what it is. No, it's not Sex on the Beach. It's called Just Like Sex Cake. That's what it's called.
That works for me too.
Uh, what it is white or yellow cake mix.
Mhm.
It's yellow cake mix, and you poke holes all in it.
Right.
And after you bake it, and then you take sweetened condensed milk and pour it all over that cake, that that fresh cake.
Mhm.
And then you take a mixture. You take some Butterfingers and bang them all up put them in a little Ziploc bag and crush them all up. And you
Mhm.
take that mixture and mix half of it in Cool Whip.
Ooh.
And then you spread all that Cool Whip over it, pour some more sweetened condensed milk over it, and then take the rest of that, like, squished up or whatever you wanna call it, banged up Butterfinger, and, like, crumble it all over the top of the cake, and it is so good. That sweetened condensed milk is really good. There's so many things that you can do. I'll tell you, I made a Black Forest cake, and it was like, devil's food cake with
Oh.
maraschino cherries and the
Oh.
juice poured all into the cake mix. It turned out great.
I'm not even gonna be able to stand this. I'm gonna be buying Lord knows what.
Yeah, it's good. There's a
I'm
lot.
trying to make a sorry guys and guys, I'm trying to make a order at Meijer too to have it delivered here in a little bit. And this thing is not cooperating with me here. Uh, there we go.
No, Dana is a soup person. You like a lot
Yes,
of soup.
I do. And any new soup recipe that I am, that I come across, I'm willing
I
to
I
try.
came across a neat one that I had never heard of. It was pizza soup.
Ooh, and now I've had taco soup and stuff like that, but never pizza soup.
Pizza soup, and it's a
Wow.
tomato-based soup, and it looked really good. I was like, "Hmm, I wonder if that is good and how that how that works out." I think it even has cheese and stuff in it too, Dana, like melted cheese.
Man, I'd
I'll
be
have
in
to look that
heaven with
up and send it to you.
yeah, I'd definitely like to try it. Of course, I'll be the only one eating it, but we know Steve is like sometimes though I'm glad this sounds mean, but sometimes I'm glad he doesn't like to eat soup because I keep it
Really?
all to myself.
You tell "No soup for you." I don't
Yeah.
watch, Seinfeld, but there I know that quote.
Yeah, I think
Mm,
everybody probably does whether they like or hate it,
yeah,
just because that's part of popular culture anymore, I think, or has been.
yeah. So next week we're doing childhood collectibles, childhood toys and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
I'll have to go digging for
re-
some.
retro and childhood toys.
There were some dangerous toys, and we'll save that for next
Well,
week,
yeah,
but
we need to have Steve come on here and talk about lawn darts.
oh my gosh, those were dangerous. I think
Yeah,
I saw
and him and his
some at
sister
a
had some of those
really? I was at a garage sale one time, and they
things.
had a set of those, and I'm thinking, "Phew, I don't know. I don't know if I trust myself getting those and just for display, but those
I
you just
just don't
looking
know
at
how
them.
a kid didn't end up with one implanted in their head.
I think they did, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look that
They
up.
maybe did. That's why they took them off the market because
I
they.
think that here's my morbid curiosity taking over. Gotta search it up. Yeah, yeah. There's been several kids killed from
Mm-mm.
lawn darts. Wow, that's crazy. Just taking a look at one of those things, I mean, it's, no surprise that those were banned because those were, you
I don't
know,
know who thought that was a nifty idea to have something like that.
I mean, maybe a safe version of that, but I mean, who would want like a big old I mean, you could just walk outside and they'd be playing lawn darts and one of these big like big darts just come hit you in the
Well,
side of the head, and I mean, that'd be crazy.
Steve told me that literally him and his sister, what they did with those things is they just went outside and just threw them up in the air and they
Yeah,
just fall anywhere.
oh
I
my
mean,
god.
why would anybody think that was a good idea for a
Oh my
kid?
gosh. That's crazy.
But I was going to talk about maybe a few more of these. And Candace, if you want to interject anything in here, feel free. And then I'm probably going to have to run to the restroom real quick, but I'll come back because we still got time. We're not even to 3 o'clock yet. So something else in addition to the pickle juice that I will drink, and I'll see if Candace understands this. A lot of people, when I say the word dip, they don't know what I'm talking about. They say, "Dib, what is that?" Steve looked at me funny the first time I said that. But when my dad would get deer meat processed, for instance, he would make his own what he called dip, and that's what he would pour over or baste on the meat. It was just like it wasn't really a sauce. It wasn't thick enough to be called a sauce, but he always called it dip. He said,
Hmm,
get that dip out for the deer meat, get it out of there, out of the refrigerator. And they would keep it in jars or whatever.
like a marinade.
Yeah, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I would take that dip and pour it in a glass and drink it. And it was spicy as all get out. But I loved it. I loved
What
it so
made
much.
it of?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think back what all was in it. Like Worcestershire sauce was in it. Probably some vinegar. I'm sure salt and pepper was in it. Um, there could have been some brown sugar in it.
Mm,
I mean, there were several different things, and it was this kind of dark reddish brownish
like a
color.
sour, salty, spicy type.
Yeah,
Like,
kinda like that. And I just I loved it so much on the meat that I would drink it. And Dad said, "Dana, are you drinking that stuff again? You're gonna burn the inside of your stomach out." 'Cause it was pretty spicy, but
mhm.
that leads me to another thing. I love really spicy stuff. I love really sour stuff,
Yeah, sour for me.
including candy.
Mhm.
I like I like sour, really sour candy. Lemon heads, warheads, that toxic waste like
Yeah,
warhead
yeah.
candy that Fright Rag sends with
Mhm.
pictures now. I just absolutely love it. So I got a funny story to tell in connection with the sour candy. Do you remember sour Skittles, Candace?
Yeah.
I would get bags of those, and I would keep them around because if my blood sugar got low, you pop something in your mouth, and then you'll feel better in a few minutes. But when I was working at my first library job, I was working on the library's website a lot of the time in between, like waiting on people, helping people check their books out, helping people find stuff and all that.
Mhm.
But I built the library's first website. So I was on a laptop a lot. So I would have a bag of candy by that laptop just in case I needed something. And so I had to get up and help somebody or something. And my boss at the time came out of her office and she walked over behind the circulation desk and she noticed this bag of Skittles there. And I teased her about it for a long time after this. And so I was in the stacks, either putting stuff away or helping somebody or something. And I heard her say, "Oh my God." And I come around the corner and she was almost spitting these out. I said, "Got in my sour Skittles, didn't you, Tina?" I said, "That'll show you to get into other people's candy while they give it away."
She thought that was regular Skittles, didn't she?
She thought they were just regular Skittles. She said, "Oh my God, those things are so sour." I said, "Yeah." If you
Mm.
had asked me instead of just taking them, you would have known.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I didn't know."
Well, I
Uh,
like sour stuff. I'm like you, Dana. I'm a big sour. If I could sit and eat it, you know, especially my teeth has suffered really, really a lot because of my love of lemons. I love salt and lemons. That's
mm,
something I love. And my dentist is like, you need to cut back on the lemon.
that acid's getting on your teeth, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand that too. Um, Steve just sent me a message. I was like, "Who sent me a text?" And he said he's going to stop at the food truck, and
Mm.
that means I'm going to get more falafel, and that makes me happy. Um, He said, "I'll stop at the food truck on my way home." It's just at the beginning of our neighborhood,
Yeah.
so it's real easy. He probably didn't want me, buying anything else.
Mhm.
He'll probably say, "I seen you partied. You got lunch, and did you get Starbucks?" "Yes, I did, Steve. I got a glazed donut and a frappuccino,
Oh,
and
goody.
it was
I'll
pretty
tell you,
good."
you know what I had? I need to tell this, Dana.
Okay.
So I said, I want to run and get something real quick because I was out and getting stuff. I had to go get my shirt and stuff and clothes, clean clothes and stuff. So I'm just gonna stop and get something quick. And I'm not a big McDonald's fan. I don't like McDonald's anymore. I've had it all my life, and it makes me just sick thinking about having to eat McDonald's. But I like the breakfast.
Mhm.
But it was almost time for breakfast to, be over. So I was gonna try to get the breakfast. When I got up there, the breakfast was over. So I
Mm.
said, "Well, just, give me a chicken sandwich." They had those little chicken sandwiches. And then I got that and a drink. And I said, "I'll eat a chicken sandwich and that'll tide me over." I don't really want a chicken sandwich, but that's what I'll eat. And because I was trying to hurry to come back home so I could take a bath before we got on here. And I started eating it. Tell you, I got probably halfway through eating this chicken sandwich. when I see something on the
Oh,
wrapper
oh
inside
no,
the chicken sandwich.
oh
It
no.
was raw chicken fat.
I got one that trumps that one, Candace. I'll tell it here in a second.
And I said, "Is this raw?"
Mm.
And it was. It was cold
Oh
and it smelled
no,
like chicken, like raw chicken.
no.
And I got sick as a dog. I said, "Forget that." I didn't say forget that. I said something else. And I threw it in the bag and I said,
It's
"Forget
not
that."
funny, but I'm just imagining Candace like
And
throwing that and
oh my gosh. And the thing is this for a McDonald's, that McDonald's, I've never had any trouble out of them. They're always clean.
Mhm.
It's really nicely run by a really good family around here. So you never have no trouble out of it. You never think that you have to worry, but that just goes to show you it doesn't matter where you get something from and how clean they are and how I'm like, how did that get on this? Because the sandwich was fully cooked. It wasn't from the sandwich. Somebody has dropped this on that wrapper on that sandwich where they were making it. So I don't know.
sloppy.
It was gross. Let's go ahead
Uh,
with yours.
okay, so before I tell this, people that have a very sensitive gag reflex, you might want to leave the room before I tell this. Or if your
Oh
stomach's
no.
really full right now, you might want to step away. So I'll give everybody a few seconds that won't be able to handle what I'm about to say. I'm giving you a warning now, folks, before I tell this. I don't want to hear anybody, saying, "Do you believe what Dana talks about on the Friday Food Show?"
She's warned you.
Yeah, fair warning. So now I've given you enough time to out of the line of fire. So whenever I first found out I was diabetic, I tried to be real strict on myself and eliminate almost all sugar.
Mm,
Okay, I don't do so well in that department now, but I try to watch it.
yeah.
But I'm not as strict as I was when I first found out I was diabetic. So they had these candy bars called 50/50 candy bars.
Hmm.
And they didn't have any real sugar in them. They would have a sugar substitute, and I can't remember if it was aspartame or what it was in there. But I thought that would be the only kind of candy bar I'd ever be able to eat again. Of course, now if I feel like it, I eat, a half of a regular candy bar now, and then I'll, you know, take away a few carbs at the next meal or whatever. Um, TJ says, Dana, does Steve like the days when women couldn't vote? Kidding. He probably does some days, TJ, honestly. But so evidently these candy bars weren't popular with diabetics or anybody else. And they evidently sat on store shelves for
Ooh.
God knows how long. So I'm thinking that this is what happened in this case. So I had been getting these 50/50 candy bars from this grocery store for a while, few months probably. And I went in there and I got one. And keep in mind, these are more expensive than a regular candy bar. And this was years and years ago. And so a candy bar was probably less than $1 at that point in time. Now they're, probably
Yeah.
close to $2 when you get
Mhm.
one. But these 50/50 candy bars were about yay big. They weren't even as big as a regular candy bar, and you paid $2 or $3 for 'em.
Ooh.
And so I got one. I was out with my aunt and my aunt Sandy that took me a lot of places when I was younger. And I was just sitting in her car and she was getting ready to pull out of the parking lot of the grocery store. And I was unwrapping it and I took a bite or two of it. And there's no telling, I may have digested something that, swallowed something. And I happened to glance down after I'd taken a bite or two, and there was a live maggot
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was
in
gonna say
there
that.
squirming around
And
in
I'll
that. Oh, I was like, No, I'm getting rid of this.
Exactly what you said, Dana, happened to my grandpa. He said that whenever he was young, I think it was a Baby Ruth,
Mm,
um, got a Babe Ruth bar, started eating it, had maggots in it. And I was like, "Oh my god, how did maggots get in a candy bar?" I mean, you don't think that's gonna be in a candy
no,
bar.
no. Out of all the things a maggot could have been in, a candy bar was the
The
furthest.
last thing that you think it was either a Babe Ruth or was it a Babe Ruth or something? It was one of those candy bars. I can't remember which one he said exactly, but I think it was a Babe Ruth, but maybe not. But that also happened to them again with cream of wheat.
Oh, and I got cream of wheat in the cabinet.
Grandma and grandpa, they sat down and was going to eat some cream of wheat, and there was maggots all in it. They had already made it or getting ready to make it and eat it or
Oh,
something like that. I can't remember what it was. I was like, "Oh gosh, how does that get in that?" Because something dry like that, like a dry good, you
yeah.
don't think something like a
No.
lasagna or something like that, yeah, you're gonna think that something like that's gonna be in
You
it, but
think of,
something
like, raw meat, like
yeah,
hamburger meat or chicken or something like
yeah.
that, yeah, but not stuff like that. And did your speaking of our grandparents, did your grandparents ever talk about weevils?
Yeah,
Weevil
boll
pit
weevils, yeah.
and stuff? My granny, my mom's mom used to talk about that all the time. She'd say, "You gotta watch that stuff," she was talking about cereals and, like,
Mhm.
flour and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're like little beetle
Gotta
type
watch out for
bugs.
the weevils. I never seen one, thankfully, but she would talk about it. Uh,
Yeah, there's so many crazy type things that our grandparents knew about and warned us about, but we just don't listen, I guess. They were wise beyond their years, definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Learned a
Granny,
lot from my grandparents. Both sets of I was blessed with 2 very
I
great
was
sets
too.
of grandparents and really close to one of my grandmas. So, a lot of lessons learned through the through them.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh, Blissful says mid-tour boredom maggot races. That's when I left and went shopping.
oh my gosh.
So Candace has hung around with a lot of rock guys, and that's the first time I have ever heard her talk about maggot races.
Oh, goodness. And, I've heard about Ozzy sniffing, ants up his nose with, I think, maybe Nikki Sixx or something like that from Motley Crue. Maybe
God.
I'm wrong, but it was somebody he was
They
with.
must have got really bored. I mean, like, geez. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a really high one whenever he come to sniffing ants and stuff like that.
It looks like I'm gonna get all my I'm gonna get those fresh collard greens in the bag. So
Good, good.
I got 6 bags of them. So
Mhm.
that should be good for them for a little bit. I think I'm just gonna start getting it from Meyer and just
Yeah,
having it delivered
mhm.
because uh, it's just easier that way than trying to go look all over creation for somebody that's got them.
Yeah.
Because you know what they did last week?
What they
I had
do.
the groceries delivered and I decided to order from Walmart.
Mhm.
And I evidently this person didn't know a huge difference between collard greens and spinach.
Oh.
So they instead of asking me, they could not find the bags of collard greens at
Yeah.
Walmart. So they sent me 6 bags of
Now
spinach.
they shouldn't have done that.
No, they should have asked me and said, "Hey, they don't have the collard greens. This is what they got. Do you want any of these things?" And I would have said, if spinach was the only thing, I would have said, "No, just refund my money for it."
So did
But
you have to keep the spinach?
yeah, I ended up keeping it. But I also got a refund on it too
Good,
because I
good.
contacted DoorDash or whoever, and they made sure I got my
Now,
money
can
back.
bearded dragons eat spinach? I never gave mine spinach before, so
The
I'm not real
iguanas and the bearded dragons, they can, but if you give them too much of
could
it,
hurt 'em, yeah.
it can
That's it.
cause the, calcium to bind and not
Oh,
they can't digest the calcium
yeah,
should.
yeah. Yeah. So
So
you're stuck with 6 big bags of that stuff. You better freeze it.
yeah, I've got it in the freezer right now. I'm I'm trying to remember to look up and see if guinea pigs can eat it or not, because I could give it to the
Maybe. I can see if they do. I think they may can, Dana.
because that would be a way to utilize it.
Mine loves greens and stuff like that. Yes, they can eat it, but shouldn't be fed too often or in large quantities because of its high oxalate content. So
Mhm.
just as a snack, just like how the bearded dragon and iguana, maybe just as a snack every now and then,
Get
couple
pop
times a
off
week.
some food or something with a
Yeah.
little bit of it. 6 bags, oh no, Blissful says.
That's a
Well,
lot.
when you got an iguana who's a big boy and you
Yeah.
got a bearded dragon who Ernie doesn't eat nearly the amount that Toby, my iguana,
Yeah. Oh,
does.
no, I'd say not.
And the thing is that Ernie his diet can be supplemented with animal protein from the
Mhm.
crickets or the dubia roaches or
Yeah.
whatever you get. And Toby can't. Iguanas can't have animal protein.
Yeah.
It'll cause them to have health issues.
Yeah, they're like a vegetarian type
Mhm.
diet that you could give them.
Grains
Speaking
and vegetables.
Yeah, grains. Speaking of, weird foods well, it's not really a weird food, it's an old-timer food. Um, have you ever heard of anybody eating wilted garden lettuce with fat, like bacon grease?
I think so, Candace.
My grandpa used to eat that all the time, and I thought he was the only one that ate that, and then I started seeing people on Facebook posting, like, dinners and stuff, they'd have wilted lettuce. I was like, "Somebody eats bacon grease and lettuce?"
My mom used bacon grease for a lot of things, not on lettuce, but that's where I learned to put it in like green beans to
Oh, yeah, love
season
it. I
beans,
love it.
green
New
beans and new
potatoes.
potatoes from the
Mhm.
garden. I love it that Candace knows what new
Oh,
potatoes is.
yeah,
Like,
honey, I'm from Southeastern Kentucky. What do you think that we gonna well, that's the good cooking here. We're home cooking.
but Steve's Southern, where he wants to recognize it or not, but he didn't know what I meant by new potatoes.
Man, everybody and their mama eats new potatoes down
But
here.
you and Chris know what new potatoes are. Wes
Yeah.
and Aaron know what new potatoes are. It's like, Steve, why don't you know what new potatoes
I think the farther down south, because we're down way farther than what you got. I think the farther more down that you go, maybe it's a more common, maybe. But didn't Blissful or somebody say that they knew what new potatoes were?
Yeah, I think Blissful did. And then Blissful lives in upstate New York.
Mhm.
So there
Yeah.
you go. Steve's just an oddball. He just
Yeah.
does.
Now,
Uh,
most people call them white potatoes,
hmm And
but
they are white. They are very
yeah,
white, but
they're so
you know,
good. Noah loves them. That's one of his favorite foods is a new potato. In Walmart, they have a deal right now. I don't know if you go to Walmart a lot, Dana, but they have a deal
we'll
on new
probably go
potatoes.
tomorrow.
And we got probably 50 new potatoes for like $5.
That's not bad at all.
No, and we got huge bags of green beans. We got them all up in the freezer. Not the new potatoes. We've already ate all those. But I love a new potato. I love it. So somebody down here said they love Amy Connor said that I love
Yeah,
new potatoes and wilted
Amy
lettuce.
Amy is actually a relative of mine.
Oh, okay.
And I hadn't seen Amy in here for a while, but yeah, she's definitely from this neck of the woods. So she
Well,
said
she
she
knows the good stuff then.
loves new taters and wilted lettuce.
I have never tried wilted lettuce, but I would love to try it because my grandpa made it look so good. And he would take green onions from the
Mhm.
garden. He'd cut it up, eat it with it, and it looked so good. It's just like a salad, but with grease. It don't sound like it tastes good, but it looks so good. I don't know.
Bacon grease on anything is good. Like
Mhm.
mom would put it in her vegetable soup. Is
Yeah, yeah.
actual, extra seasoning and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Let's see. Blissful says she spent a lot of time on her uncle's farm, and they had a huge garden. Steve's
Yeah.
an alien, Chris. Yeah, I think. Oh, and Coco's in here. I hadn't seen Coco for a while. Hey, Coco. You've never heard of a new potato? Well, there's always people that haven't. We just give Steve a hard time because Steve don't like nothing, so
You ever
we
use a ham bone or anything in your green
mm,
beans, Dana?
I
Sweet
have.
beans and green beans and stuff like that. That makes it really good. Hey, you're gonna have to make us a big old Southern cooked meal down here with cornbread and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'd probably have to come to your house, Candace, and we'd cook up a big Southern dinner.
I
Uh,
get tired of people saying that people down here don't know how to cook. Have you never had a good home cooked Southern meal, people? You get
well,
to be
Steve didn't know, what a good home cooked meal in general
yeah.
was till he married me, and
He
he
got
was.
lucky, didn't he, Dana?
Yeah, very lucky. Somebody needs to tell him how lucky he is.
And fried
Uh,
green tomatoes and ham
right,
hocks and all that good stuff.
yes, and he was living the bachelor life.
Yeah, yeah.
He was eating chili out of the can and stuff like
And there's
that.
nothing wrong with it. I like chili out of the can sometimes,
But I told him there's no substitute for homemade.
No, no. My mom makes oh Lord, I love her chili. And she can't eat it now where she can't have tomatoes and stuff like that, but oh, she
Man,
makes the best homemade chili. I like white chicken chili.
white chicken chili's very
I
good too.
love making that. That's one of my favorite things to make, and I'll make cornbread and fried cornbread, and it's so good with it. Sure is.
But guys and gals, well, I'm not going to go just yet. We're not going to leave just yet. But I do have to run to the restroom. I just drank a boozy drink and I drank that watermelon lemonade, and I'm about to flood all over the place.
Uh-oh, you better
I,
go.
so y'all don't have to see that. I'm going to remove myself temporarily and let Candace hang out with y'all for a second.
Venison chili. Dana, that's deer, right? I've never had deer. My dad would sometimes bring it home, like he would get it from somebody and bring it home. And I just never could bring myself to try it. I don't know why. Now Chris has had it and he loves it. And I've had different kinds of like meat. It's not that I don't know. I never could bring myself to eat it, but I've had alligator. I don't know why I couldn't try deer, deer or rabbit or squirrel or anything like that. I've never been able to. My mind won't let me eat it, won't let me try it. But I've tried buffalo. I've tried alligator. Um, I don't know. It's weird how your mind works sometimes and won't allow you to try things. But I'm never going to say never because I may one day, try it. But it just never. I don't know. I just always thought of Bambi. I can't betray Bambi and Thumper and you know the chipmunks or not chipmunks because they're chipmunks. I don't even think does anybody eat chipmunk? I don't think that's something that people do. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I love alligator. Me and Chris, when we went on our belated honeymoon to New Orleans, we actually had an alligator sausage. It was like a hot dog, made like a hot dog. And that was the best meat that either of us had ever tried. And we were just like blown away of how good that was. I don't know what they used in it for like to make the sausage, like what kind of spices they used, but that was the best meat. And I've still not had anything near, as good as that. So in New Orleans, if you want good cuisine, good food, oh my gosh, they got the best down there. Even their Popeyes is better than anywhere. I love Popeyes. We don't really have one around us. I think the closest Popeyes is like an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. But when I do have Popeyes, I love it. But even the one down in New Orleans was it was great. It was really good. We tried a lot of good stuff down when we were down there. Like their clams and stuff was really good, and I forget what all we had, but it was a good food experience down that way. One thing that I didn't get to try that I wanted to try was the king cake. I know that's something that's really big down there, especially like during Mardi Gras and stuff. And it always looks good. I know they have like an ice cream, like king cake ice cream at Walmart. And I said, I might get that one of these days just to see if, what it tastes like. Because it always looked good. Looked really sweet though. I'm not the biggest sweet person, but it really does look good. Coco, alligator, it's a lean meat. I really can't describe what it tastes like. It's not like beef. It's not like chicken. It's kind of more, I guess, related to chicken. Chris, if you're still in the chat, or anybody else who's had alligator before, maybe try to help me explain it. It's a meat that is just, I don't know. It's unlike any other meat that I've ever had. It's like in between meats. It's like I said, it's not like beef or like chicken, but it's like in between that. But whatever flavors they used, like to make that sausage that we had, made it amazing. I mean, it was, I love Cajun flavors anyway. Any kind of like Cajun like seasonings or anything like that, because there was a chip down there. And actually, whenever we went to New Orleans, I had never seen these chips before. I forget what they're called though. I do that a lot. I start thinking of things and I forget what they're called, but um, they were like voodoo chips, like a kettle chip, and they were the best chips. It had like this voodoo, like Cajun seasoning on it. And when we got back to Kentucky, I started missing those chips so bad. And then just randomly, maybe like a year, like Zaps, that's what it is. Zaps, like voodoo. I forget what it's called, like voodoo something chips, but they're a kettle chip. And about a year later, we were in the store and I looked over and they had them. They had the chips. And I was like, "Oh, there's my chips from New Orleans." But when I got them and tasted of them, they tasted better in New Orleans. I don't know if it's just where we were in New Orleans that everything was just tasting great, and made it taste better, but I don't know, I just so good. And if you get a chance to eat, like, alligator and you're good with eating, like, more exotic meats, it's an exotic meat where we're from because we don't have alligator meat here, that I know of. So if you're okay with eating stuff that you're normally not used to eating, I highly suggest it. Especially if you're in New Orleans, man, that's something that was really good. And the thing is we got these sausages from like a convention center. We wasn't like at a fancy restaurant or anything like that. We were at a convention center. We were getting ready to watch WrestleMania. And it wasn't a convention center. It was the If Chris is on here, maybe he can correct me. I think it was at that big stadium, that big old football stadium that's down there, the Superdome. I think that's where it was, inside the Superdome down in New Orleans, that we had that gator meat. Like I said, it wasn't from like no big restaurant or anything like that. It was delicious. I was telling them that gator meat's probably the best meat that I've ever had.
I want to try alligator, and they have it here at a place called the Hungry Pelican. It's just up the road. You go out of
Yeah,
our
well,
neighborhood and
try
go
it.
towards Fern Creek, but I can't ever get Steve to take us to the Hungry Pelican.
Like, we had it in New Orleans, and Chris said it was at their convention center.
Oh.
There It was just a hot, like a sausage dog, Dana, and that was the best meat, best sausage, best anything like that I'd ever eaten. It was just me and Chris looked at each other and we were like, "Oh my god," because alligator is so hard to describe. I can't even tell you what it tastes like.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was wonderful in New Orleans. That was such an experience going down there and getting to experience all that stuff, because it is such a place, like, you feel like immense sadness, especially if you're you have empathy and stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
feel that kind of thing. Um, and I can, so I can feel all that, but still I had the time of my life. It was like you feel spooky and you feel like all these ghost stories that the people tell, and you just see just different things. But the food was phenomenal down there, especially the alligator meat. That was great. That was the highlight down there.
Amy, you were asking how do you private message me? Well, the thing is, if you're talking about on here, you can't send me a private message unless you're on the stream with me. And then there's an option that the people that are either backstage or they're actually on the stream with me can private message me. Um, but I think we're still friends on Facebook. If you want to drop me a message through there, I mean, that would be private. It wouldn't be, where everybody else could see it if you wanted to do that. Um, but I just wanted to look at some of these messages because I'm sorry, the Meyer order came in and in between me going to the restroom, so I made sure I got all that stuff in. And uh, oh, Coco was talking about deer, and Amy was talking about. She said, "Dana, your granny made the best chocolate pies," and I bet I know what Amy's talking about is those chocolate derby pies
Ooh, those are good.
or brown derby pies. They're
Mhm.
called. I mean, it's like a chocolate pecan pie, and if I
Yeah.
had my choice between a regular pecan pie and a chocolate one, I'm gonna take the chocolate one hands down.
I've had that one time, and it was delicious. It's really a deep, deep flavor.
Mm.
But my grandma used to make homemade meringue pies. She'd make chocolate and lemon and butterscotch. Oh, those were so good. If you've never had homemade meringue, that's the best. Made out of egg whites, and you
Right.
fluff it up and stick it on there and flambe it. It's so good. I
No
love to do stuff like
substitute
that.
for homemade. I'm telling
No,
you.
no, it
Steve
don't.
wants to
No.
Steve wants to eat, like, cinnamon rolls out of the can. I said, "That's all well and good, Steve, and so are canned biscuits. If you're not feeling like cooking
Yeah,
that day,
yeah,
that'll work in a pinch, but when you want something really good, you
yeah.
get homemade or you have
Even
somebody homemade something for you."
like tacos or something like that. I don't wanna go to no, like, unless it's like a Mexican restaurant or something like that, but,
Right.
like, Taco Bell, if you want something what they call, like, white people tacos, that's what they call it. I mean, that's what I've heard the term and stuff on, like, TikTok and stuff, like that kinda Americanized type taco, like, from Taco Bell. If you want that
Right.
kinda stuff, forget that, I make homemade. I do the homemade, and nothing beats that unless it's a real authentic taco.
Mhm. Yes, green beans, new taters, Amy, yeah, and chocolate pie.
Man, I'm gonna have to go probably go home or not home, but then my mom's and they're like, "Mom, let's go ahead and get some of them green beans out and let's make some
Exactly.
cornbread and some new potatoes or new
Technically,
taters
I'm
like we call 'em."
full. Technically, I'm full, but all of this talk of, new taters and green beans and chocolate pies and all this stuff
Have
is
you
like,
ever tried tomato pie?
no, I have not,
Oh,
but
dang,
I
if you
bet it's
like
good.
tomatoes, get you some red tomatoes and some yellow tomatoes,
Mm.
slice them up, the big slicer tomatoes. Oh, it's so good. I love a tomato.
Oh, like, I haven't had Mississippi mud pie, Cocoa, but mom used to make Mississippi mud, like, brownies.
I like turtle brownies.
Turtle brownies are great too,
Mm.
but Mississippi mud, like, brownies, oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
is
love it.
murder, Coco, anytime we
Man,
talk about food.
after having that gross chicken sandwich, I'm he wants some he got me
Oh,
wanting
man.
something. I mean, you had me at falafel back there whenever you was talking about falafel, so, uh,
Yeah, Steve's gonna bring me home some falafel, so
Chris
I'm
is gonna be like, "Go make me some falafel, Candace." He loves my falafel, he loves it. I love making Greek food. That's one of my favorite, um, like, type of cuisines to make is Greek food. I absolutely love it.
mhm. Oh,
And we actually got a new Indian place
uh-huh.
around here, and see, around where we're from, you just don't get Indian cuisine. I
Mm,
always have to make it myself, and, so Chris is gonna have to take me. It's not here in Hazard, but it's the next county over where Chris is from, so which is even weirder that it's there, because it's a lot smaller than where we're from, so Chris is gonna have to take me because I grew up in a school, especially for a small town, that was very, very diverse. A lot of different kids from different countries, a lot of Asia, people from Asia, places like that. So, I grew up around with different cultures. And what was so great about the school that I grew up in is they allowed um, the parents to
mhm.
come in and share that culture with the students. And I've ate some of the best food ever from growing up in school like that. So one of my friends, that he was from India, his mother came in and made they're little balls. And
Mm-hmm.
man, right off the top of my head, I can't tell you what they're called. I know what they're called, but I can't. If I see the word, I can tell you. But they're a little sweet ball of like dough that has been soaked in like rose water or
Oh,
something like that. And they are so good. It's sweetened like I think a rose water. I might be wrong, but it's a dessert and it is so good. And this restaurant has those, and I had always told Chris about that and told him how I dream about that dessert. If anybody knows what they're called, to correct me in here, because I forget what they're called, but I said, "Chris, you're gonna have to take me because they have that dessert. They have that dessert." Yeah,
that
so
sounds really, really good.
yes, I'm getting excited that we're getting more, because I like making Indian cuisine, but this is authentic, and
Right.
I don't know what I'm I try to do as authentic as I can by watching videos and stuff like that. Just like Asian cuisine. I love making sushi and all that, but mine don't compare to when you get it authentic, somebody
No,
who knows what they're doing, who is used to making that kind of thing. So I love it. I love different cultures. I love different cultures, cuisines. I love Indian food. It's a very bold taste whenever you eat
yeah.
really good Indian food. So I'm excited. I am. He's gonna have to take me. I'm gonna hold him to it. He said he would.
Oh, I'm sure he will. Um, we're probably gonna be tying this up pretty soon here, but for those of you that have not heard me tell the deer meat story, because I know people were mentioning venison when I was
Yeah.
away. Um, I love deer meat. I grew up, I don't want to hunt deer. That's kind of hypocritical of me. I let my dad do the hunting and the field dressing and all that stuff. But once the meat was processed, I would eat the heck out of it. So um, I got to tell the funny deer meat story again for those of you that may have not heard me tell this. Oh, when me and Steve hadn't been together very long as boyfriend and girlfriend. Steve came and spent a weekend with me at my mom and dad's house. And Candace probably knows where this is going.
I do.
Um, now I have very, I guess forward thinking parents. I mean, I was in my 30s. So
Mhm.
what are they going to do about, they knew that, me and Steve had been together. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but they knew,
Yeah.
they're not stupid. But again, what are they going to do? I'm not 16 years old. I was, into my mid and late 30s. And so my mom, bless her heart, got my dad to vacate the house. And dad said he would never do that again. He was staying at his house, but he did it for mom because mom asked him to. Mom said this one time, since it's Valentine's Day weekend, Steve's coming to visit you. Me and your dad will leave and go and stay at a hotel, and y'all can have the house. Now, how many parents would do that? Not
That
too
would
many.
happen.
So, Steve showed up. I'll tell the romantic part of it. Steve showed up, and he has done this several times with me. He'll make out like he didn't get me anything. And then he said, "Hey, I gotta go out to my Jeep and get something." Because he didn't bring any flowers or no candy when he first came to the door. He goes back to his Jeep and comes back and has flowers and candy and a card and a photo frame and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very romantic, like. And so we spent the weekend together, and I guess it was probably that first night. Um, I got hungry and went into the kitchen, and Steve, I don't know if he was watching a movie or what he was doing, but I went into the kitchen, and my dad had had some deer meat processed into what we call deer sticks.
Mhm.
It was like big jerky size, sticks. It was like Slim Jim, only,
Yeah.
a lot thicker. Okay. And I had my hands full because I was getting something else. So I stuck one of these deer sticks in my mouth. And it probably looked like a cigar or something like sticking out my mouth. It's like Franklin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I get that barbecue from the gas station. But so I had that hanging out of my mouth and I had stuff in my hands. And I went to close the refrigerator door and Steve was standing there. And first he scared the crap out of me. And then he was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And I took the deer stick out of my mouth and I said, "It's a deer stick. You want one?" And he's like, "No, I don't want anything like that." And I have never been able to voluntarily get him to eat deer meat. He just won't do it.
Voluntarily.
I tricked him into eating venison burgers, and he was eating them just fine till I said, "How you like that burger, Steve?" "Oh, they're pretty good." I said, "You know you're eating deer meat, right?" He said, "I knew something was different about these burgers." I said, "You did not." And I know Candace has tricked Chris into eating
Yeah.
things
We
too.
have to do what we gotta do to get him to like something, because I've had to do Chris that way, and he's ended up loving stuff that I've, tricked him into eating or forced him into eating. Not force him, but,
Blissful says, "I love that." Yeah, that's a story I like to share multiple times because I mean, the deer stick story and the deer burger story they warrant repeat tellings. I think just because they're so funny. But one last thing I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to see if Candace does this or anybody in the chat does this, is that I grew up seeing my dad do this a lot, and I guess I just decided, oh, that looks good. Looks like nothing's wrong with that. But dad would he put his meat on his plate and his mashed potatoes and the other vegetables, like if we had peas or macaroni and cheese or something like that on there. Dad would inevitably end up mixing all like his mashed potatoes with the peas, mashed potatoes with the macaroni and cheese, and he'd just eat it all together. And so I started doing that. And I think it tastes pretty good like that. Do you do that, Candace? Or
no, I don't, but Chris, I've seen him do stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
He likes to mix his stuff up, like gravy. Like when we get gravy and biscuits, like from McDonald's or somewhere like that, I just let mine lay where it is and eat it like it is. But he'll take his and like mix it real fine up and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know. No, I do like mixing some stuff. Like I'll get a spoonful of. I'll tell you what I like is when we make like mashed potatoes and stuffing and like some kind of meat or something.
Yeah.
And I'll take A1 steak sauce and pour it all over all that stuff, like pork chops or whatever we're having. And then I'll take the mashed potatoes and then a spoonful of the stuffing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll eat it together like that. So I don't
Oh,
mix it
yeah.
all together, but I'll eat it together like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
like A1 steak sauce on all that stuff.
That sounds pretty good, actually, the A1 steak sauce.
Now, I have spoiled Chris. I make my own A1 steak sauce. I don't eat it. I like the regular stuff out of the bottle, but Chris likes my homemade, and I make it with ketchup, onion powder, garlic powder, Worcestershire sauce, and a dash of soy sauce and ketchup.
That sounds good.
So it tastes just like it, but he won't eat it out of the bottle, and he wants me to make it for him. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
Amy, you're right. Mashed taters and corn mixed together. I
Mhm.
mean, we did that too. Or canned maters and crackers mixed together. I
I've
mean,
never had that before, but I like cream corn.
yeah, I love cream
I
corn.
lo I had never had homemade cream corn until my mother-in-law made it,
Mm.
and it is definitely different. It's really good. I think she uses cream cheese
Ah.
in it, and it tasted good. It was really good. I was like, "Wow."
Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's so many, like good combinations of things. But I know it seems like I'm talking about Steve and how strange he is, and he probably thinks I'm just as strange as can be. But this is how strict Steve is. He doesn't even want stuff touching. Like if I fix fried corn for Steve, and I don't know if anybody's ever had
I
fried
love fried
corn
corn, yeah.
before. And I came up with kind of my own recipe for the fried corn, and Steve loves it, so I keep fixing it for him. What I do in a nutshell with the fried corn is I take frozen corn. Steve's mom gives us bags of corn that's been taken off the cob and frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And she will give us this periodically, and I will put it in a cast iron skillet because I love cooking with my cast iron skillet. And I will put milk in there, enough milk where it's covering that corn.
Mm.
And I will put a lot of black pepper in there, and bacon grease if I have it. If I have some bacon grease, I'll put that on there, and then I will cook it until it thickens up. And when it gets thick, I know it's done and ready to eat.
Yeah.
But Steve will not, like, you cannot put that corn on the plate with his other food. It has to go in a bowl and be separate from the
Hmm.
rest of his food. So that's how strict he is about
Well, you make kind of like a cream corn yourself, a little bit.
kind of, yeah.
Kind of. Now, I'll tell you the way I like to fry my corn. I like pickled fried corn. And I'll take
Mm.
my pickled corn that's been pickled and canned and pickled, and then I'll take it and I'll pour out the water and stuff, and I'll put a little grease in there, and I'll fry it like that, and it's so good. When it starts popping, that's when you know it's good and fried. But I love all that. But what you said sounded really good. It sounds like a creamy style fried corn.
It's just really keep in mind that it's spicy. I have put cayenne pepper in it
Ooh,
too.
my goodness.
Just a little dash of it. I don't go crazy with it. But I put a lot of black pepper in there.
I love black pepper, but my stomach don't, so
Yeah,
I gotta go easy on it.
and Coco's talking about corn casserole.
Mhm. My mother-in-law makes it. I had never had it until I love it. It's so good. She uses creamy, like, corn in hers, and it's real sweet, kind of, really good. Fried okra. I love fried okra. My dad loved
Yeah,
fried okra.
I've had fried okra. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's not bad.
He loved it. We make it all the time.
But I guess since it's 3:32, Candace, is there anything else you want to bring up, or anything you want to promote, or anything before we call it a day?
The only thing that I could say is, like I always do, if you've not checked out our mine and Chris's Death by Stereo podcast here on YouTube, check us out. It's just searching Death by Stereo podcast, and you should see like a picture of like the Gill Man or the creature, from the Black Lagoon and a stereo. That's us. We put out a few new videos today. At 10 we released a new video dead. If you like the Backstreet Boys, we're covering a Backstreet Boys video. It's the video dead. We cover non-horror themed songs with surprising horror themed videos, and we cover a Backstreet Boys video on that one. And then at 4 today we'll another video will be dropping. It's the TerraVision
Mhm.
series that we do. And this season we're doing Munsters episodes, Memories of Mockingbird Lane, where we cover 3 Munster episodes each in each of our television videos. So we're talking about that. But we've come up with a second season, Dana,
Ah,
of the TerraVision. And I'm so excited about this one. I really, and I think that you maybe would come on there sometimes. And I
oh,
love we've had Dana once. I would love to have her more.
well,
She always
yeah,
adds to it.
you let me know, and I'll be glad to join y'all again.
I don't want to give away what the next season's going to be, but I will say this: it's not going to be focusing on one television series. Because television, we just talk about like television series. We go over like spooky ones or whatever. But
Mm.
this is going to be focusing on just a ton of different series. But they all have something in common. Each episode that we're going to be talking about is going to have a theme. and I think people's gonna like it. So, if you've joined our channel and stuff, so give us some support. We highly appreciate it. So if you feel like checking us out, we would, greatly appreciate it. And Dana, we always shout you out on there, and always,
I
just in
appreciate
case there's
it.
somebody that's not from your channel that's over there, and just let them know, hey, go check out Dana.
I appreciate that. I've gotten even more support today during the Terror Time Tea.
Ooh,
Rainbow came in and he gave me a super chat for $2,
good,
and
good.
he said he was coming by to show some support, and I thanked him and
That's great.
tried to promote his channel as well.
Mhm.
Which I'll say to all of you, like, definitely go to Candice and Chris's channel and check out the Death by Stereo podcast, because they're doing amazing things over there, and I don't want them to feel discouraged. So y'all make sure y'all give them a lot of support, because they've come a long way from kind of not wanting to do things to now they're more excited about doing things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to keep the excitement going in that direction. And also, check out Rambo.
Yeah,
If you
we
have
always
not,
shout him out too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'll even put something out there for the Dead Pit Boys, even though they've been giving me a hard
Shout them
time
out too.
lately. Yeah. If you haven't went over and checked out Dead Pit Radio, go and check
Yeah,
CK and Uncle Bill out over there.
yeah. Always good to support your friends, it is.
And when Chris gets his channel up and going, definitely check Chris out and
Yeah.
all the amazing things I'm sure that he's going to be doing.
Well, I'll tell you, Dana's really, because doing something like that, what we're doing, and doing this here, this is something that we've been wanting to do for a really long, for years. But we've never had the courage to do it. But Dana, I'll be honest with you, Dana has put a big encouraging part of kind of pushing us into doing that, because never imagined that we would actually be doing that stuff. I was always too afraid to do it. So I owe Dana a lot for kind of pushing us into that direction of getting us kind of, we kind of had the boots on, but Dana kind of put her boots on and gave us a kick in the rear end and said, "Go on, get out there and do it." So yeah,
Well,
they all.
I just have realized how much fun all this is. Now,
Mm,
sometimes I get bummed out. Sometimes I worry about whatever stream I do, and I'm very apologetic, as a
you don't
lot
need to
of you
be.
all know.
You do not need to be. You've not done nothing out of the way. You always put on a good show, Dana.
Well, I will say, I don't talk about this much because I'm trying to leave some of that stuff in
Yeah,
the dust. But I think I've finally got the channel back where I want it to be,
good.
where it originally was headed, before it got slightly derailed. And I'm glad to see people that went away for a while are starting to come back now. Um, that is that means that I'm doing something at least a little bit correct,
Yeah.
if people are starting to come back. And, I hope that the future just continues to be brighter and brighter. And I promise you guys, too, if, once again, if you can get me to 1,000 subscribers, I will eat some insects on camera while doing an Evil Dead Cheryl cosplay. So,
And I'll stick to mine too. I agreed to do the same thing. So
as Mrs. Roper, she
yeah, I'll be eating ants on a log with Mrs. Roper.
so if
Where
y'all
did I
want to
even come
see
up with
that,
that? I don't even know.
so if y'all want to see that from me and Candace both, and
Mhm.
we're gonna try to get Chris in on it too if I get to 1,000. And um,
Oh,
TJ
goodness.
says, by the way, food shouldn't touch on the plate until it's supposed to.
Oh,
Oh man. Um, but I guess we'll try to tie everything up. Steve will be home shortly. He's probably getting our food from the food truck, and I'm gonna have me some falafel here soon.
really?
But I want to thank Candace for being on here with me for another Friday Foolish. This has been a really fun show, and it just
Yeah.
goes to prove that we don't have to talk about horror all the time to have a good time.
No, no. I've had fun. It's been a free talk type thing. It's not,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't feel bound to like try to, you can go off. Food takes you everywhere. Food is for the soul. So I guess it's for the conversation as well. I've enjoyed it.
And before we get off here, thank you, Blissful. Blissful said
Mhm.
it was a fun live. I'm going to show off some new t shirt designs I've been working on, and there's more in the
Oh,
works.
yeah.
But give me 1 second here and let me bring
If
this
it's the
back up.
ones I've seen, they're pretty cool.
Candace is my biggest supporter with the shop. She's my biggest supporter with a lot of things.
I love these. This is right up my alley, though. These designs she's doing. Dana knows that.
Like I said, there's more to come. Like this, I'm getting really into these Scooby Doo mashup shirts. Is what I'm really enjoying right now. So there's going to be a lot of uh, new ones of those that are coming out. So let me share my screen here. So this is the one of me and Candace. I did an all new one, and this is
Oh, I
where
love this one.
we look more like cartoon characters than we ever have, I
Yeah.
think. And we look like we just got ripped from the Scooby Doo cartoon,
We're
I think.
cute.
Yeah, we're cute. That's Candace did put it that way when I was talking to her about it. She said we're cute in that. And it does look like me and Candace, even though we got blonde hair, and
Mhm.
neither one of us has blonde hair right now. But I just like the look of it.
Yeah.
Um, and it is very cute. And Scooby and Shaggy look very happy that we're going to be guest starring on the Scooby Doo movies, or it appears that way. Um, and this is one I also did last night for Joe Bob and Darcy. I like how this one turned out. I
Yeah.
like the look of it. It took me a little bit to figure out how to arrange them so they would both fit. And that is the two-person circle too, but it just took a little finagling.
I think it looks great.
And so y'all will soon be able to um, y'all will soon be able to pick up those two designs. If you want to get me and Candace on a design, if you want to get Joe Bob and Darcy, I've got a whole bunch in the works. There's going to be a variant on both the Robert England and the Kane Hodder. So if you don't really like the ones that are up there now, there's going to be some new ones. Vincent Price is in the
Oh,
works.
that's Chris will want that one. I'm waiting out for a Peter Steele. I'm gonna bug you until you do that one,
I,
Dana.
Peter Steele is coming. He's coming. He'll be there.
Okay.
Before you can say Peter Steele, and I'm glad Candace reminded me of that again. And Blissful also mentioned Wednesday 13.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to work on that one. I think we talked about the Beatles. We talked about a bunch of
Did we ever
different.
mention Alice Cooper?
I think we did. I
Did
think
we?
we did. Yeah, I definitely want to do Alice Cooper because that would fit right in
Mhm.
with all that. And yeah, so I'm excited about getting some of these shirts. I've actually got some royal blue shirts ordered for me and Candace that are 100% polyester. And anybody that knows anything about the sublimation prints, they're brightest when you've got the closest you can get to 100% polyester, the better they turn out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like 100% polyester. That's exactly what I've been looking for. Um, uh, Blissful, you say you'd really dig that shirt. I I hope that all of these people, if they find out about these shirts, I, if I knew, and maybe I could get by with doing it without knowing Robert England's size shirt. Maybe if I just did him a large or extra large, we'd be safe, with that. Because I'm not gonna try to contact Robert England and say, "Hey, Mr. England, what size are you? What size shirt do you
I'd
wear?"
say he would probably be a large. I
That's
would
what I
think.
was
Be
thinking.
comfortable. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about making him one of those Scooby Doo ones to take to him along with the other stuff I want to take to him. And hopefully they allow me to give that to him when I go up there for my photo op. I just want to give it to him real quick. And, I'm not responsible for what if he sits there and looks at it or anything, but I was just going to give it to him real quick because I was going to have the tea in there. I was going to make him a Freddy candle, and I want to make him a shirt and with that Robert England Scooby Doo heart
I think
mashup.
he'd like that. I really do.
Don't try to sell Robert the shirt. No, no, no. I'm not trying to sell him anything. I'm just going to give it to him. I would never.
See Dana going up there. Be $20, Mr. England. Funny.
Let's make a trade,
Let's
Mr.
make a
England. I'll
trade.
give you all this stuff and you talk them into let me have this photo up for free. Yeah. No, I won't. I won't do that. Coco says that's cool, Dana. Do it. Well, I'm planning on bringing Robert England a care package with some stuff in it. So, and then me and Candice will have our I love Robert England shirts on, of course. That's going to be the coolest thing in those pictures with Robert England. Have the Robert England I love Robert England shirts. You didn't know Uncle Bill was in Jackie Chan's First Strike, Batman? I didn't know he was either.
I go see that.
Yeah, I wonder if Steve has that movie. I'll watch it and see. But anyway, I also want to thank everybody that was in the chat today. We've had a pretty full chat
Yeah.
on and off at all points in time. Sorry about that. But like I said earlier, no watch alongs or movie munchies this weekend, but they will return the following weekend. I'm going to finally make that deep red chili, hopefully. And we are going to be having, I know Chris wants to join in on this Gremlins watch along. So
Yeah.
we're going to have Gremlins, I believe, on Saturday. And I'm going to have another edition of the Initiation on Sunday. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And so if anybody wants to join in on any of those, please let me know. And
Is the you're doing the video Dead, right? And Cemetery Man?
yes.
Are those coming up anytime soon?
Let
Because
me
I
see
don't
if
want
I
to
can
plan.
find
I don't want to
my.
plan nothing on those days.
Okay.
Because I did, I'm the one I think brought those up. I definitely don't want to miss them.
See if I can find my paper. Like I got a million sheets of paper around here. This is awful.
It seems like you told me when it was, but I'm so bad at misplacing things. So if I wrote it
Yeah,
down,
I
Dana,
I
I
can't
have
find,
forgotten.
I can't find Jack that I'm looking
I shouldn't have
for.
put you on the spot there to try to.
Oh no,
You
no,
can
no,
send
that's
it to me later.
fine. So next weekend I'm doing Gremlins and the Initiation. Okay, so it looks like I've got the video dead for June 30th.
June 30th.
Um,
Okay, I can go back and watch this.
and I have Cemetery Man for July 6th.
Okay. June 30th and July the 6th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're gonna have an Evil Dead watch along for June 15th. Evil Dead will be June 16th. And Army of Darkness will be on June 22nd. So
Ooh.
if you're interested in that trilogy of films, be sure to join me for that.
Well,
But
fun those.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing those and many more that are coming up. Killer Clowns from Outer Space I've got scheduled for July 13th.
Ooh.
Poltergeist, July
You got some
20th.
good ones coming up. Some that I really, really enjoy.
What About Bob? We're going to have What About Bob, I believe,
That's a good
August
one.
11th. Scary Movie will be the 10th, and then
Still a good one.
11th
You
will
got
be
some
What
good
About
ones coming for me. I'll try to get on to those now.
Stripes on the 18th of August.
Now that's Chris's movie. I'm not into Stripes.
Now, I will tell you the dates might change a little bit. I should tell Candice that too, because when I originally wrote this,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
doing them every weekend. So there might be a slight variance.
yeah.
I will try my best to let everybody know in advance when those things are coming up. I'm glad I thought of that because um,
Oh yeah, I
might
forgot
have
about them having the Killer Clowns video game. My son's been talking about it. He's wanting it. Because he loves
oh
the
yeah.
Killer Clowns. He said,
Well,
"Mommy,
that's right. Baby steps from
yeah,
What About Bob. Baby steps to the door. Baby
man, you get so you feel sorry for them, but then you get I don't know. I love that movie. It's so fun. There's so many scenes that you just, you know,
I'm a terrible gamer too, Blissful,
I
but
am too.
I try in vain to play games. I got that Texas Chainsaw Massacre game, and
Oh, I can't
Dirk
do those kind of
Dirk
games.
kept wanting me to join his what do you call it, his group or whatever, and play the game. I
I
said,
know.
Dirk, I suck. You know that,
I'm
right?
a Mario. I'm a Nintendo, Super Nintendo type.
Mm.
You know? Oh, that's my
I
jam.
play PlayStation 5 stuff because Steve's got one. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
I
But I
think the
play.
farthest that I go is like, the Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro and stuff like that. Anything after that or Cool Borders, whatever that's called. Anything after that, I'm just like, I don't know I can't do this stuff.
I mean, I die quite quickly on these games.
Yeah.
Uh, Batman, you say I would like to see you play a Evil Dead game. I actually had the new Evil Dead game, Batman, but I suck at it too. I got to a point near the beginning of it that I couldn't. I was like, I don't know what to do. And Steve said, Dana, I don't know. He said, you need to find a walkthrough or something online for it because
You
he
sound like
couldn't figure it out either. Um, Let's what you say, oh, June 1st, Caroline Blue is premiering their new video. Oh, I'll have to check that out. To check it out. Um, but I want to thank everybody again for being here with me and Candice
yeah.
this afternoon. And there's there'll be a ton of stuff upcoming the next week. Hopefully, I won't get sick at any point in time, and I'll be able to complete all the things I want to have coming up in the next week. Y'all go ahead and check out the shop at deaditesondeck.com. Then you'll notice that's my new headline underneath my name. I figured out I could do that on Streamer. I was like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Did they give you that option, Candice, before
Mhm.
you come on?
Yeah.
So Candace and Chris, if they wanted to, they could share the channel where they do the Death by Stereo podcast. Anybody else that comes on here with me can
That's a neat
advertise their
thing, yeah.
websites and channels um but be sure to go over to deaditesondeck.com. I'm going to have some new things up here shortly, and I'm working on more new designs as fast as I can just to put more stuff out there. So if you're looking for some unique
Mhm.
horror stuff, I think it's unique anyway. Go over and check out deaditesondeck.com. And well, I guess me and Candace will tie this up. And as I've been saying, because I love that when Ducky says that on Pretty in Pink, I'm off like a dirty shirt. So I've been using that as well as my traditional tagline before we get off here. And that is I want to remind everybody to be kind to one another and
Mhm.
blaze that trail. And we'll see everybody next time. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a fantastic
Yeah.
weekend. So goodbye, everybody. We'll see
See
you
you
next time.
guys.